Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Netguy and The Fox. As you can hear, I am the Net Guy.
And I am the fox.
Yep. And today we are here with a very special guest. First time interview for Netguy and The Fox. We are interviewing I'm gonna probably gonna choke about this, so please don't mind me. And if you need to humble me for saying this, go ahead. The Grand Dame of The Sims, BlackEssence.
Hey, how are you doing? Happy, what day is this? Wednesday. I never know what day it is. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy
Wednesday. Yep,
Wednesday.
it is Wednesday, and
Happy Wednesday.
pretty much we are here to talk about BlackEssence, her time in the gaming community, about herself,
Mhm.
and various other questions that might pop up on our stream. But right now, I think I want to start with tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I've actually been playing The Sims since 2000. And it was totally by accident. He brought the game home, and I had just got home from school and saw him playing it when I barged into his room as many times as I've always did, and just was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "Don't worry about it." And I said, "Bro, what is that?" Because I thought it was so cool. He's like, "It's." I don't know what he said, but he was like, "It's not that kind of game." I don't know what I said to him for him to say, "It's not that kind of game." And I was like, "Okay," but I kind of sat there and watched him. And then after kind of just peeking over his shoulder for about 2 or 3 days, I came home from school and snuck and turned the game on. He worked at Walmart at the time.
Uh,
And I put that game on, and it was love at first sight. And then at that point, he had to let me play because I had sat there for like maybe hours playing the game. And it was just a life-changing moment for me. And I used The Sims for I think a lot of us probably used The Sims for the same reason, where you were at school at the time and school was whack, and when you wanted to kind of release just all the frustrations of that day, you just came home and put on The Sims, and you were just in another place to escape for a little while. And that's what I had always used it for. And The Sims also was a huge staple in just my walk with Christ. I've always used The Sims as a staple with my walk with Jesus, which I'm a Christian, just raised and born and raised in the church. And The Sims just gave me a bird's eye view of just how God has to put up with us when we don't do right, when we kind of are left to our own devices, and then we come crawling back, Lord, forgive me. And we get rewarded with some simoleons or something, anything that just um really helped kind of give just strengthen my walk in my faith. So The Sims has always just been that, and watching it grow and watching the community grow with it. It just really solidified my love for other games and other franchises that I fall in love with. That has just it's just been a blessing, and through it, I don't take any credit from it at all, of just how it's been a staple in my life. I mean, the Lord used it to allow EA to reach out to me, and I'm still embarrassed by that. It was when My Sims was coming out for the Nintendo Wii, and I uploaded that video like some weird kid, and just dancing on camera, which I am so embarrassed by that video. I think it's still on my channel. I don't want anybody to look at it, but anyway, it's up there, and I'm dancing. Just got it from GameStop, and it had just released, and I was just so happy about it. And EA saw that video and had the unmitigated gall to tell me that they had showed it to everybody in the office. So that just made it even more embarrassing for me. And through them, I was able to meet other Sims at an event they had that was called the My Sims Day Camp or something like that. And we went there. That was my first time ever being out of that far out of state, across the Americas. So it was my first time in California, and I met Tim Latorno, the late Tim Latorno, who was the head producer of it, and he was just the sweetest, kindest man, and he was just so excited for My Sims. He was just really hoping that it would really go over well. And it did. Obviously, it did. It came out with some more with My Sims Racers, and then My Sims Agents, My Sims Kingdom, and then My Sims Party. So the franchise grew Um, I like to think, honestly, like I said, I'm not taking any credit, but I like to think it was because of that dumb video I uploaded. I don't think really anybody really knew about My Sims. They didn't really, advertise it quite a lot. I think the only time you saw it was really on the kids channels on TV. I think Cartoon Network showed it a few times. But it really didn't get a lot of airtime. So I like to think that not just my video, but probably other people who really showed their interest in My Sims really just kind of kept that franchise alive. But it's just those examples that The Sims have really has been an impact on my life. But outside of that, I am a graphic designer. Um, did a little graphic design for a little bit, but that was right around the time we all had that economic recession that happened in 2008. And once that happened, there was no jobs anywhere. So I really couldn't use my degree in graphic design really. But I did use it when it came to gaming. So anything that I could do as far as create, it was just used for that, and I have no regrets with that at all.
And
Outside of that, oh, I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
No,
okay.
please finish.
Outside of being a graphic designer, I'm a arts and crafty girl. I love just expressing myself through art. I am a sticker hoarder. I make no bones about that. I love me some stickers, and it doesn't take much to make me happy. If anybody wants to send me any stickers, you can. It doesn't. It can come from Dollar Tree, Dollar Store. It don't matter where it come from. I love me some stickers. So, just that, and just an overall homebody. I think ever since the pandemic, I think all of us just got hit with COVID one way or another, and
Yeah.
that just exacerbated the hereditary and just health issues that I have. And a lot of that played in the part is why I haven't been so active on my channel, because every day is something new. Every day is something wrong. I got a fever, it's the autoimmune, or it's something every time. But I also think for me to say, I also think it has something to do with spiritual too, because every day I'm working on something with the Sims. Just because I'm quiet doesn't mean I'm not working. I'm not working just because I'm silent. And so I have notebooks upon notebooks of series I've wanted to do that I think are just original, that only could have come from the Father himself. And I've been wanting to do it, but every time I do it, I fall sick. Every single time I have to go to the I have to go to the ER or anything like that. And I know that it's something that is stopping me from giving something that people will want. And that's basically to be able to relax and to chill at the end of a hard day, and watch something that's wholesome, that'll uplift them, something they can go to sleep to at night. That's my biggest goal, that you can put this on at night and go to sleep, and you don't have to worry about things being said that is entering to your spirit.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting in your own comfort zone, pretty much.
But basically. And so the goal for my videos and Let's Plays have always been, let me entertain you and uplift you. Let me, if you're not a Christian or not a believer in Christ, let me show you what Jesus looks like. Let me show you what it's like to live in a cozy home for somebody who has to work from home, from somebody who does suffer from chronic illnesses. I mean, I got a laundry list of chronic illnesses.
Oh, goodness.
And so this is what it's like to feel like you can be not necessarily productive, but be productive at rest. We were able to rest while you work.
And so it's a really nice thing, because I mean, on my perception, if I may, I am not a believer, pretty much. I am pretty much born as a Christian, but I'm not exactly a believer. But it's amazing from my point of view, your approach on that, because you're almost like giving to the people a point of view, like a window. Then you're showing what is outside that window, but you do not push people to get through that window to
absolutely not
see it. You leave the people to get close to the window to admire what is the beautiful background over it. And this is something extremely rare these days, and it's extremely remarkable on my point of view.
I know that walk, that's a personal choice. The Lord made us free moral agents, and it's a personal choice whether you believe or not to believe. And no matter what choice you make, I mean, there's going to be consequences with it. Just like if you do something bad, there's a consequence to it. You do something good, there's a consequence to it. So the way I feel is this is just who I am. I'm not going to shy away from that for other people, but this also means that the church of the doors of the church are open. Come in and watch. Anybody from any walks of life. I want you to be able to sit and relax and feel like, I'm a part of this family. I'm a part of this couple who is perfect, Whitney and Elliot. I want you to be able to sit there and say, that could be my life as well. Just nice and cozy, and I feel at peace. I feel no stress. I feel like for once, the world is hushed for a while, and I can sit here and just escape for a little bit and be feeling uplifted and entertained at the end of the video. So it's always been that goal that I want you all to feel like you're entertained, that you're educated, that you feel inspired, that you feel like, I can just put this on. And I always tell people, okay, guys, we're getting ready to do this. This is the goal for the day. Now, if you're doing something else, get your stuff out, and you don't have to watch. You can just hear me speak. You don't even have to watch. You can just listen to me speak. And this is what we're doing for today. And that's how I always wanted my videos to be portrayed. And for years, for the time that I've been sitting down, I've been getting messages every now and then from people saying, I need what you got. I need this. I think everybody's kind of tired of what there have been the same rehashed drama, like the reality show drama that people are putting out. And I think people are getting tired of it. I think people want something that's a bit slow paced, that feels like they're not being drained of their spirit when they're watching so much drama and so much really just mess that's out there now.
Yeah, that's no kidding. I know as someone who does watch reality shows, it does feel like it's getting repetitive and boring and all that stuff. So it is a nice change of pace to see your content and your channel.
My, we got that guy that is a drama queen, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's like my guilty pleasure, I'll admit that. But then I realized it's like, okay, this has been rehashed how many times exactly? So I just
right. And see, I like reality shows too. I don't watch them on the regular. I think the ones that I like are the ones where the person's creativity comes to question. Like not America's Next Top Model. Well, yeah, America's Next Top Model is one of them because you have to use your looks and your personality to sell.
I remember that show myself. I know a favorite of mine happens to be Eva Marcel, who was from season 3. I think it was season 3. I don't remember. And she's done so great with herself lately. I've seen her in a lot of movies.
I think Sunday has done well too. Her name is Sunday.
And one another that I also enjoy was Yaya DaCosta. I adored
Yaya. Yeah.
Yaya is like, she was like a great role model, I feel, for the little girls that watch her and stuff, and overall, because she has that spiritual essence in her, and in tuned and all that stuff, and very grounded, is very humble. It has a humble spirit, and that's what I get from
it's
her.
only just a handful of them that even carry that. Only a handful, and even though Sunday is more quiet down on her thing when she's doing her modeling or whatnot, and she's living in Japan or whatnot. From the last I checked. She's still doing well over there. She's doing better over there than she was over here.
That's
so
good. Good for
but
her.
shows like that and Project Runway, there were some reality shows I found that had something to do with people who would literally paint and you're trying to find the best artist. Just stuff like that where the director or whoever's behind them is not manipulating these people to be mad with each other. Is literally these people's egos that's causing the drama.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than you knowing that, okay, now somebody said something, made up something, and I'm just going to put that narrative out there and see what fights ensues. You know what I mean? Like
basically, what the producers is trying to put in people's heads. So it's not organic drama. It was like scripted.
It was scripted.
They were directed to say this or that and whatnot, and all this stuff happens, and now it goes left.
Exactly. So I just prefer when people's literally like, I feel great about my art and da-da-da-da-da-da, and then that's what causes people like, well, dang, you so stuck up, that kind of stuff. Like I can form my own narrative, like this person is off, or this person is different and unique and they're humble. I want that to be my decision or my observation of these people, not anybody trying to manipulate that. So that's another reason why the way I storytell with my sim stuff, I want people to form their own likes and dislikes with people. I'll tell you, okay, this sim did this and did that, but then only you have the right to figure out, okay, well, I don't like this sim, or you have the right to make that decision. Well, okay, I like this sim or whatnot. That Whitney, which is me, is facing. And I think that's another reason why I like The Sims. I can be a Whitney that I always wanted to be. I like the Whitney that I am today, praise God, but the Whitney that I always wanted to be, Whitney that knows how to drive, because I don't drive because of fear. Okay. Anxiety.
Relatable.
Yep. And plus people around here, I'm from North Carolina, so people around here can't drive worth a nickel, no way. So I'm just saying.
You know what? It's the same in Virginia too. They give just anybody a license here these days.
I'm telling you. So every time I see something crazy, I'm like, thank you, God, I don't drive. But I praise God that our fellow millennials and Gen X's can drive. And so I just hop, a Lyft or Uber with them, and or whatever they got set up for my little medical transportation. I just get on that and go to the doctor, because that's where I stay at most of the time. I'm at the doctor every month, 3 times a month. That's where I stay. So but rather that, but Whitney's able to be and do things that I wish I could do. And when I'm able to do it, it's like I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. And I can tell her story better than anybody else. I think that's the reason why we have so much of, when I do a new Let's Play, it's always about Whitney's perspective, because I don't know no other reality. And when I do another reality, I can't execute it the way I want it to, because this person is not me. So I try to put Whitney in different situations that people can relate to. Like, she stays at home most of the time, or she goes out, and when she goes out, she goes to a restaurant where they sell breakfast all the time. I mean, that's just my thing, unless it's Taco Bell. And then,
yeah, and
right, unless it's Taco Bell. And I want Whitney to be relatable to where you say, yeah, I can see myself in Whitney. Be a believer or not, or just any other walks of life. There's something about Whitney I can relate to. And that's what I think is the key point of all the Let's Plays, is that people can find something relatable, and it's not fake. It's not something that's being that's pretentious, something that's being pushed on you. You choose what you want, how you want to view Whitney. And if there's something about her that can make you feel confident about yourself, then I feel like I've done the Lord's work.
Oh, that's good way to see it. Now, I know you mentioned
we also got in chat a fan of you. There is Elisa said hello. That is, she sent a message, and he or she, I don't know. I hope I'm not misgendering that much. And he's over 15 years and has been a part of your community for a while, since 3 Facebook page, and still watch you till this day for comfort.
Oh.
We got a fan of you.
That is, and get messages sometimes from people saying, Whitney, I used to watch you when I was in middle school, and I'm getting ready to go to college, or I just ready to graduate college. I'm like, y'all, y'all making me feel like an old woman. You making me feel like I am just ready for the nursing home. And most days I feel like, with all these health problems I got, but I love
it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. And I love it when people say, "Oh, I've watched you this long," and I was like, "Y'all, all this screeching and hollering I was doing in these episodes, like, what is it about my work that makes you able to sleep at night?" Because I've heard people say it puts them to sleep at night. Oh, and I said, well,
like
thank
ASMR
God,
almost, because of how soothing your voice gets.
But honey, as long as they're feeling blessed by it, I feel that. I think I don't know about anybody else on this planet, but for me, I get a thrill when people are feeling blessed by whatever the Lord put in me to give to them. I don't want any kind of praise or credit or anything. It has to go back to the Father. It just has to, because I wouldn't be here or wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for Him, for what He put on the inside of me. And all I want to do is just share what I love, what makes me happy. With me, I've been raised in a loving family, but I also have a parent who is a narcissistic parent. Oh. And I have a parent who can be very, very difficult to deal with. And then I have another parent who is the one that had to keep the household together, who kept us in church. If it wasn't for that, I think all of us would be crazy. So
right.
And that's something I never shared online before, but this is the truth. I've been honest about it the last few months, but because now I'm seeing this parent being driven by dementia. I'm seeing my parent declining. in health. So when all of that stuff has been a constant play in your life, sort of PTSD really, The Sims has always been that door that I could go through and say, okay, Lord, let me sit here with you and just kind of be somebody else at the moment. Let me kind of just, do what I want to do, which is wake up in the morning, go out in the garden, see how my plants are doing. Now that we got the butterfly thing in there in The Sims 4, we can go in. I can just see how my butterflies are doing. All that kind of stuff that just brings me joy. It helps me keep my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And it draws me close to my Father. So in all this time that I've been quiet, there's been things going on in behind the scenes off the PC where my mental health is key. Mm-hmm. And I've never been able to make episodes if my mental health is not right. So I don't do it because I don't want anything that I'm going through to come through and affect who is watching. Mm-hmm. My issues are my issues. That's not for you to worry about. And every now and then I say, guys, if you can just lift me up in prayer, I really appreciate it right now because everybody needs it.
Right.
To be able to function and to get up the next day and say, I have a purpose. And if I didn't stand on Christ, I wouldn't feel like I had a purpose. I wouldn't even have done what I've done for so long. It wasn't my strength. It was his. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if anybody can just get something out of what I'm doing, even when I leave this earth, and the time is going to come when I'm going to leave this earth because the kind of health issues that I have can be, fatal. Let my work be something that everybody can have and use. If that's the closest thing they can get to Christ, let them use that for that. If it's the closest thing that keeps them stable every single day, and to be able to get up in the morning and say, you know what, I have a reason to get up because I got to go watch Whitney's video, something like that. That's all that matters to me. Like I said, I don't take no credit for it. It has to go to the Father. Has to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put it. So I guess my next question is, I think you mentioned how you discovered The Sims, but was that your first foray into gaming, or did you find gaming elsewhere or somewhere else? Exactly.
Oh, it was elsewhere. My late brother Marcus.
Oh my.
that we were gaming from the womb.
Oh.
We came out the womb gaming. My late brother is 8 years.
With the controller
right, and we came out the womb. I mean, my late brother is 8 years between us. It's my late brother, me, and my younger sister. And he didn't want any brothers.
Oh.
He did not want any brothers, and he wanted sisters. Mm. And he said because the boys take his stuff, the girls don't. And when we were born, our brother just lavished all kind of love on us, and of course we did it to him. We're a very weird set of siblings. I think we're probably the epitome of biblical love because we loved each other. So he brought me into gaming. I think the first game I played was on the Super Nintendo. The NES, and that was Super Mario Brothers.
And yes.
Yep, and he
first
taught
for
me
us
how to
90 folks too.
Yep. And we had the Game Boy, so when I was around 3 years old, he taught me how to play Balloon Kid on the Game Boy. And that was my first game I ever beat, and I was 3 years old on my own. And after that, it just, by the grace of God, our family was able to, back when people used to make money. I don't know what it's like night and day today, from the early 90s to now, it's like night and day. Our parents used to work and make money. Okay. Mm-hmm. And being from a small town that I'm from, I mean, that was a big deal. We thought our town was going to really grow and flourish. And at the time it was. So everybody had a job. That was when mills and plants and stuff was still in the country. And so my mother and father, my father grew up working in the plant, in the mill. So he was a head, I think the head supervisor at one of his plants, and my mother works in mental health. So she worked there and did that. And so every Christmas, it was a great Christmas. And every Christmas we got, Nintendo something. So we got the Super Nintendo in 91. And Super Mario World was my first major RPG that I played. And by the grace of God, my brother was able to acquire great classics like Secret of Mana. And then he got Illusion of Gaia. And then he got Earthbound. And then he got, we grew up playing every now and then we would go to the video store and rent games, and we would rent Contra and Contra 2, and then I would rent Earthworm Jim, and then I would rent Rice Star, and then all the stuff is what we did, and that was our staple. That was also another thing that kept us sane, because like I said, when you have a parent who has anger problems, and a parent who's narcissistic, and a parent who was at the time was not hardly there, praise God, he was working all the time. Our gamings was our escape. We would come home and, you know, dealing with kids at school who were lame as well, and we would come home and we'd play these games, and that was what built our personalities. That's what built us to who we are today. So a lot of my gaming I owe to my brother. I owe to my brother Marcus. And when he left to go home in 2021, it really hasn't been the same. It hasn't been the same. My sister and I, he gave me one niece, and I have lavished all my love on my niece, and my niece is a huge Sims fan. I did not influence her. She just saw me playing, and she knows my videos like you all, backwards and forward, up and right. And she one day will get into Let's Playing. She's thinking about it, but it's through him that we were able to continue on that tradition with her and our younger sister. And we just, to this day, it hasn't been the same getting new games and new systems and whatnot, because I can't call my brother and tell him, hey, guess what? And we would always borrow each other's systems and play. That's just what we did. But it's because of him that I'm also where I am today. Marcus was a huge influence. He was an armchair athlete. He knew sports like you wouldn't believe. He would have been great on ESPN. And he was a huge gamer, a fantastic gamer. I've never seen anybody play like my brother. And that's where it all stemmed from. It just came from the womb, and it just passed on down to our niece. And I couldn't be more proud of her right now. She's beaten her first Kingdom Hearts game. She beat 1, 2, and 3, and I hadn't even beat 1 yet. And she's almost 16 years old, and she's beaten her first game. I just couldn't be more proud of her. And I plan to keep on just lavishing what I have upon her. So it all started from the womb.
And our next question, is we're gonna do some gaming related questions here. So
okay.
So yeah, since this is a gaming podcast and all, we want to go like into a deep dive into gaming and stuff in general, the industry, what games you play, the genres you play. So, I guess we already know your favorite franchise is The Sims overall. Do you have any other franchises that you dabble on besides The Sims?
Fallout, anything Bethesda. If Fallout is my lifeline. I love me some Fallout. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. I noticed I didn't mention
Best
Fallout
one.
76. Yeah.
Best one. Really best one. The Fallout
Yes.
Las Vegas.
Oh, New Vegas was just a dream. I went to the drop party for that at GameStop when it dropped. And the manager who worked there, he cooked a whole meal. You thought we were having the Last Supper there, because he cooked a whole meal for that drop party just for Fallout New Vegas. And I was the first one there. I was the only Black person there, and I was the only woman there. And he was just like, wow. And all the gaming guys kind of flocked to me because like, you play Fallout? And I was like, absolutely. I just got finished with Fallout 3, and just the attention, I won't lie, was nice. And the food was good too. But Fallout for sure. And then the other one is BioWare's Mass Effect. I absolutely adore Mass Effect. Absolutely. That game will I can't even put into words how that game will literally change your life. And then of course the latest thing from Bethesda is Starfield. I absolutely enjoy Starfield so much. And anything that lets me go out and be in space and to just kind of be there with, I'm gonna mention it again, be there with God. I just absolutely love it. And I think the next one would have to be Fable. Saints Row is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hates Saints Row 2022, but honey, that game was made just for me because it's absolutely beautiful. I loved it myself. But other than that, I think Fable probably amongst more than anything, Fable and Red Dead Redemption 2. Absolutely, Red Dead Redemption.
Very interesting choices, and I think we've joked about the newest Saints Row that you're probably the only person that enjoyed the game
And the only
overall.
one.
Uh, so how would you feel? How would you feel about that in general? Basically, you're like the lone wolf in a crowd of sheep that didn't enjoy
Oh,
it.
for Saints Row 2022 and Starfield?
Yes.
I can definitely speak more on Starfield. Starfield, I wish they would have given them a chance to, or given Bethesda a chance to really develop that game. And it's being developed beautifully now with the new DLC that's finally out, and all of that. Starfield is just very unique, in the sense of that they really touched on things like they actually implemented God in the game. They won't say Jesus, but they did. They definitely implemented God in the game, and you knew who they were talking about, with the different factions that are in the game. But I think the storyline is beautiful. I love that there's literally 1,000, a little over 1,000 planets that you can visit in the game. That they work with NASA with this, and each planet is different. Each
Hmm.
planet is different, and I love that the narrative is going beyond what's out there, and it takes you to another dimension or another version of the world that you're in, and you're technically being reborn again. And each time you do it, you get more and more of, you become more and more in the knowledge of the power that you have, and you just start to realize that there really is another being out there. And the game is just, visually it's beautiful, the storyline is beautiful, being able to romance some of the companions you have is just beautiful. It's just, to me, it's just beautiful. And I think it's really made for people who have that sense of wonderment, that sense of exploration, that sense of who, something or other planets are out there. What would it be like on another planet? What would be the things that you see, some of the animals that you see, or the plants that you see? I think it's really made for people who are Star Trekkies too. I mean, if you're a Trekkie and you love exploration, that game was
Hmm.
made for you. It ticks all the right boxes. And I'm glad that it took about 3 years, because I think it came out in 2023, um that it's starting to get the respect that it deserves, and I think it needed that chance. um Saints Row 2022, I could preach a whole sermon on that, of why that game was done wrong. It was done wrong. I think the company that who developed it, Volition, was done completely wrong. It was supposed to have been a reboot. It was not supposed to be of the predecessors before, which I own all the games. Thanks to my brother, I own all of the previous Saints Row, and this was a reboot. This was a totally renewed take on it, and it really represented us millennials greatly, in the sense of, this group of people, best friends, are from different um backgrounds. So two of them are from different rivaling gangs, and but yet you all are best friends, and you're trying to make money to pay off student loans and all this kind of stuff. um and the storyline was just beautiful, and the environment in the game was just beautiful. It was just a beautifully made game, but it was not given the chance to grow, and I think it's not fair. And I honestly blame the fans for that, because they all wanted what it used to be, and they didn't want to do that. They wanted to take a whole different route and a fresh new take on this, and it just didn't get that chance. And it's a shame, because that hatred caused Volition to close down. And I think they sold it to Deep Silver. Deep Silver has the rights to that, so we don't even know if Saints Row will ever come back. The hate was so nasty. I think they just literally destroyed that franchise,
Hmm.
and it's heartbreaking.
We, in a lot of occasions, me and that guy have been seeing this happen quite a while, and
Mm.
most of the time we've been saying, and then sometimes when a company fail on that, sometimes it's because it's never been given the proper time to cooking. If you
Mhm.
if you catch what I mean. But on the other side, there is also a thing where the people are so um kind of like hyped in a certain way, And when you just receive a product that is not like they would expect or completely different from how they would have perceiving it, they'll be like, "Oh, this sucks. It's just been a disappointing and such." So, in a lot of times, I've been saying that sometimes the blame it can be also on both sides, both from not probably from the developer per se, but mostly from the companies that tend to push and make and speeding up a little bit too much the release of a game that probably is not even ready yet because it still need to be developed a little bit more. It need to be added a little bit more, and it's just not resist the test of time, which is something that we've been noticing a lot of during all these years of the gaming since 2018 or even before, actually.
You're right. You're right. I just wish people had a more of an open mind for it, to give it a chance, because Saints Row 2022 was beautiful. The story was different, and it had so many avenues that it could have gone to grow even more. I mean, they did release DLC for it, and I think the DLC that did with LARPing, live action role playing, was amazing. That is like my favorite DLC. Um, it just had so much room to grow, and I wish people had given it a chance to allow it to do that before the unjustified, I think it was just unjustified hate for it. They just did not have an open mind, and they wanted the previous characters like Gat and all of them to come back, and they feel like they were lied to when really from the beginning Volition told them this was a reboot. This was something totally different. And I just wish people had more of an open mind. But people also have a right to choose what they're paid for, what they'll entertain. And I think people made that clear, but I wish they were more civil about it. I mean, I was seeing death threats, I was seeing hate mail coming in. I'm like, y'all, wasn't that serious? Did you hate it that much that you got to threaten somebody's life, their livelihood? To
And
drive that point?
you know what it's sad about that? That most of the time, those even hate speech are not even hate speech them born from themselves. It's
That's exactly
something
right.
that actually it's been putting in their brain someone else, or there
I
could
think
be
that's really what it
even their
was.
favorite. Yeah, it could even be their favorite
To be their favorite
podcaster, or
podcaster or a favorite content creator.
content creator. Then just make content spreading hate, and the people, unfortunately, which we keep saying, if you have to thinking something, even if it's wrong, doing it and develop it from your own head and not from the thought of someone else. Try to think with your own head instead.
Right, make your own
And no,
decision.
people are not doing it. Definitely not.
And I do feel like the hate was just spread on because somebody else hated it. I think that's what it was. I think the people who played like their review copy of it before Saints Row came out, and Starfield, this goes for both of them, these people were not original Bethesda players anyway, or people who played Volition's games previously. And if they did, they were playing it from a point of view where I wanted to be like it was the old way. I wanted to be like it was before, and not being open that this is a new take, new narrative, new set of people, new cast. And it's unfortunate that even the voice actors can't even really talk about Saints Row 2022. I noticed that all of them they kept up their videos that they uploaded promoting it, but they can't talk about it.
Right.
If you ask them any questions or anything about Saints Row 2022, they cannot talk about it. I'm cool with one of the voice actors. He was one of the voices for the male character of Saints Row 2022. Voice number 6, I think he was. And he can't talk about it. He can't say anything outside of what he thinks about the reaction to it, the reception. He can't say anything. And it's unfortunate that these people have to stay silent about this work. They were so proud of their work.
Probably because they have to follow an NDA.
Yep, that's what it is.
And
so it's
speaking
heartbreaking.
on that, oh yeah, it is. And speaking on that, since we brought up fandom and all that stuff, how do you feel about today's gaming fandom versus the time you first started gaming? How do you feel about it today?
I think it's night and day. I think it's honestly night and day. I can only speak from the reality of being this small town little chocolate girl from the small town who had a small town Walmart at the time. Super Walmart was rare back in the day, so we had the small town Walmart, and back then it was almost like gathering together at a home cookout when you ran into another gamer, and you would just sit there and just gush about everything that you loved about your particular game at that time. And the only way we got any gaming news, this is before the internet, we would all meet at Walmart, and you would go to the magazine aisle, and you would see just groups of kids just sitting on the floor, standing up, reading these gaming magazines. Like that was the only way you got your news. So you would go there, and before you bought, or if you couldn't afford it at the time, you just sat there on the floor and just read it, and that's how you kept up on what was going on. And then once the internet came out, and things like GameFAQs was probably the first ever social media, if you will, for gaming, even though people were uploading their very own playthroughs at that time on it. That was the closest thing you had to socializing with other gamers about that. And people it used to feel very homey, very close knit, even though, you know, you're talking to people from around the world, and that was new. That was mind blowing. I can talk to you and you live all the way in California, or you live all the way in Japan, or whatever. And so that was it felt close knit. It felt very like brand new, meeting somebody who had the same like-minded as you, and you didn't know that, because all you knew was your reality that was around you in real life. So with today's gaming community, it depends on the fandom, and I do think that there is a lot of unnecessary hatred. I think there's a lot of unnecessary racism. I do think there's a lot of gender wars where it shouldn't be. You know, the guys don't like that there's too much you know, men showing their stuff, and then there's the girls saying, well, that's too much, you know, showing too much girl stuff. I mean, it's almost like everybody wants to put what they want and push it on other people. And there's a way to say, well, look, y'all, there's a little bit too much. That's too much sexism in this one, or that's too much in that. I think it's not just offensive to women, it's offensive to men too, because now you're putting narratives in men's minds that think this is how women should be, or how, you know, especially young boys, you know, this is how women should look like, and that's how I should expect women to act or look. And there's a lot of unrealistic expectations, physically or mentally, that is being, you know, formed in these children's minds. You know what I mean? Whereas when we were children of the 90s, you know, the only time you saw those narratives is when you went to the movies. You know, and you saw that, but you didn't have it pushed in your face like, this is the narrative, that this is how things are. You know, so you were able to form your own, you know, observations, your own perceptions of what you wanted to see in your games. And it used to be about the story, it used to be about the characters, and now it's just like, who can make the best first person shooter, who can do this and do that. And I think the loss of caring for games are different. I think since the baby boomers were the ones who were making the games at the time, it wasn't the Gen X or the Gen Zs or the millennials at the time. It was boomers. They treated video games back then like it was a business, like it was a firm. You know, and many of these gaming companies were firms. They treated it like it was law offices. You know, we're coming out with this product, it's got to be right. and people also, they also weren't afraid to try different stories, different narratives, different, you know, whatever. That's why we got things like Final Fantasy, and things like Earthbound, and things like Tomb Raider, and things like Outcast, and things, you know, just many different types of games of different whatever, because it fit. It was almost like companies back then were not trying to really better each other, but better what they could in that genre they were working in.
I do remember for Tomb Raiders, and nobody said anything. Just saying, for Tomb Raiders, everyone were all great and all in agree with that, because they were fans of only one thing. And come against me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure I'm not. Everyone was their favorite with Tomb Raider because of the polygonal tits.
Absolutely, that's what it was. I think Lara she is amazing in her own right, and I'm talking about because of her mind and her
Mm-hmm.
ability of what she could do in crazy situations, especially in the latest Tomb Raiders that have come out. I have all three of those, and I just thought her whole her whole concept in those were just amazing. That girl faced
Hmm.
some stuff that nobody in their right mind would want to face or be in a situation. She was just amazing. But I think Laura with Sony, what Sony PlayStation did good then was to make things more realistic. I think Laura had built a whole new narrative of this bad girl thing, but also being beautiful,
Yeah,
heroine that
yeah, it
you
was,
know
yeah, it was the very at the very core a very badass woman with a
it
great
was it was.
intellect and a great courage to go against everything and pretty much going jump into the unknown because
That's right. That's
pretty much
right. And
she had no idea what she would have found inside any of the places she was visiting. It was full of traps, enemies, and not even caring about that. The joy of discovering what is inside the unknown, and that was
that's
also
what
the
it was.
thrill for why we love the Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider, the first
We love her.
trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my brother got that game. He got it the day it dropped. Praise God, he worked at Walmart because when he worked at Walmart, he could
Ooh,
get
you had all the
he
access pretty much to all the latest
yes, he
stuff.
had access to it. The first thing he wanted to do when he turned 16 was get a job and get his license. That's exactly what he set out to do. That's what he did. And when he started working at Walmart, he had one goal in mind: to spoil his sisters. So it when he got something, that meant all of us got something. So when he got Tomb Raider, he bought the strategy guide, which by the way, I still have it, and it still has all of Marcus's cheat codes that he wrote in there in the book, so that way he can know how to get her best weapons, how to get infinite ammo, how to get infinite life. All of it's in that book. And when he got it, we must have played that game. I think that whole weekend, just playing that. And all I can remember my brother saying, "She is so brave. She is so brave." That's all he kept saying because what she was doing was unheard of. She was the first of her kind in that genre. We were seeing this game play out in a way that it was took 3D, 2D to a whole nother level to 3D, just straight, just I mean, it was mind blowing. I mean, them pixels, it may have been pixels, but we thought it was today's graphics. We thought it was next level. And it was she just set up a whole genre of things of exploration that I just fell in love with. I've always loved sci-fi and exploration, and Laura was my doorway to that.
Hmm.
She was my doorway to that. And if anything, if Laura was a real person, she should get every flower in the world because she really set a genre that just, if it wasn't for her, Nathan Drake wouldn't be here. I mean, it's just I can't even put into words anymore. I'm done. I'm finished. I quit.
So,
No, but I totally agree on that. I totally agree on that. There was also Emma Gray. Hi, Emma. Then she was saying in regard of Starfield and the anger with the fans, and she's saying some gaming fans will get angry about the weirdest thing. Like one of the most famous rants about Starfield, I think it was about the fact there was an option for pronouns.
Yeah, there was an option for that, and just due to my faith, I'm just being honest, just due to my faith, I kind of want to go away the route that the Lord speaks on it. But hey, that's me.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Like I said, I tell everybody, the Lord made us free moral agents. You do what you want to do. If he wanted robots, he wouldn't have made us in the first place. But he made us free moral agents to think and feel for ourselves. And so if you want to play the game that is open to you, that's fine. I mean, if you want to play this game that, play a game that is a narrative that you feel like is comfortable for you, then you do that, and just so I can play it as myself as well.
Hmm.
And I think it works both ways when there are options there. I don't like it when people, feel like they have to, leave people out. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's gonna cause trouble.
Oh, of course.
So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it's also wrong on my point of view. It's also wrong if in both case, if you want to keep people out, it's wrong.
exactly.
But it's
Yeah, I
also
agree.
wrong. But it's also wrong if you're gonna put a specific narrative that is like forced right in your throat because
I
of
agree. Now I
you
totally
wanna
agree with
be
that.
you wanna be political guided on a certain direction,
Agree.
and
I
that's
agree.
also wrong because like me and that guy have been saying a lot of times,
Mm,
gaming is not politic. Gaming
I
is
agree.
supposed to be made for fun and not for make politics.
It's not
In
supposed to
gaming
make
you
you
can give
frustrated
in
too.
gaming you can give the choice, like even like the pronounce. You give the choice for the pronounce, and
Thank you.
guess what? Though, we thank you. If you're gonna forcing someone, I'm doing like an example. If you're gonna force someone to take a direction then that person doesn't want to take because morally or because her own entertainment don't want to
Totally
take that
agree.
choice, why do you have to force him go in that direction?
I
Leave the
agree
gamer
100%. And that's what I
leave
was
the
trying to
gamer
word.
yeah
That's
leave
how I
the
was trying to
gamer
word it.
the freedom to choose where the hell she want to go.
Exactly, exactly. And that's how I was trying to word. That's why I said it. Leave
Right.
it open to where people can make their own decisions of what they want. And I think that's probably one of my biggest problems with The Sims is
That's
that
thinking about it. I'm sorry for the interruption. Obviously,
yeah.
that's actually a good point that you guys made because that's actually a criticism of Dragon Age 2, I believe, around
Oh Lord,
the
I played
ending.
Dragon Age 2 and I had the worst time because it was so hard. I don't even want to talk about Dragon Age 2. That that
Well,
that game almost made me forget I was Christian and it had me swearing like a sailor because it was so hard. Like, eh.
but
But go
I
ahead,
do
I'm gonna talk
remember
about it.
there was a common criticism in the end near the ending of Dragon Age 2
Okay.
where they could have given you the decision to save the chantry, the church
Mm-hmm.
in that in game from exploding. They never gave that option, and people were very harshly critical over that
Mm.
lack of decision. Um, so I guess my follow up question to that would be like, would you prefer your video games to have a certain kind of freedom or a certain kind of restriction when you play said games?
I would honestly let myself have the freedom because the only game I can think of right now is Tamagotchi. With the new Tamagotchi Living the Dream that just come out, the one thing that people were really mad about is that they added pronouns into it. But they said flat out that this was your choice. And I was like, okay, I can't agree with it because of my faith and because of just what that's my reality. That's what I
Yeah.
was raised into. If it's going to be in the game, definitely make it as my choice. I do prefer that. That way, everybody can just shut up and play the game and enjoy it. Right? Because
Right.
you can make your world and your me's any way you want them to be for your playing narrative. Do I
Mm-hmm.
have to agree
Mhm.
with it? No. Does it matter to you? Absolutely not. How I play the game is fine. Like, for example, in my time of your life, when I've been playing like crazy, Ray, you've seen me playing it like crazy because you see me sign
Oh
on
yeah,
and
I've seen you play
you
it
see me playing it hardcore, right?
all
Well,
from the
in my
old 3DS days.
exactly. So in my Tamagotchi living the dream, everybody, we were able to. This is what I love about it. You could actually create things for your Mii's to entertain themselves. You can make books and clothes and all kind of stuff. This just really took it next level from the first game that came out for the 3DS. This one, I made a Bible. That was the first thing I made. I made a Bible and gave it to everybody. And you can't tell me, you can't tell me, I can't tell y'all the joy I have seeing them, sit down every now and then, and they're literally having Bible study. Or there's scenes where sometimes they are just sitting there reading and they'll make a comment like, oh wow, reading this Bible just making me feel so inspired. This is just coding that's in the game, but because I made that item, it's fitting the world that I like to see. And it works for me. It doesn't have to work for anybody else. This is just how I play, but it was my choice. That was the thing about it. It was my choice. This is how I want my game to be, and that's fine. It is not a direct disrespect or irritant to anybody else who doesn't play that game. If you want to play your game differently than I do, then that's fine. That choice was yours. I think people need to have that choice and not have that choice taken from them. And that was one of the biggest issues I have with The Sims 4, where back in the day, by default, your Sims didn't have a choice whether they were into a male or female necessarily. You gave that choice to them. It was however you wanted to design their personality. But in the end, that decision was taken from you, and it's like by default, now you got to double check and make sure that your sim is exactly the way you want them to design them, and that's extra work. I'll be honest with you, that's extra work for someone who is a believer, because it causes you to kind of go into a spiritual warfare with yourself, and you feel like, well, maybe I'm not. It makes you think. It makes you feel like you're not open, like everybody would want you to be. But at the same time, you don't want to compromise your faith. You don't want to compromise what you've been taught and learned and what you hold dear to you, to fit somebody else's narrative. And that's what I say that for people who are non-believers. If that's just not your route, if God's rules is not something you want to go by, you don't have to. Again, He made us free moral agents. And at that point, you play the game any way you want to play it. That has always been my rule. I've always preached that. Play the game the way you want to play it. I have no right to go in there and judge how you play your game, because that's something that you paid for with your own money. Okay. And that's something that you spend time with yourself. That's your world. I have no right to infiltrate that and tell you how to play it. And just because I don't agree with it. You play it the way you want to play it.
Yeah, in fact, I absolutely agree. In fact, to me, the secret is having a little bit of curiosity to explore and getting into the story, into the universe, and try to dive inside that universe and getting curious for, what if I do this instead of that, and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
this is exactly what makes it interesting. Yeah.
And that's what makes a person a great gamer, when they're able to adapt to different situations in their game and say, okay, well, I've seen it, okay, and I don't really want to go that route, but I'll go this route, and that door is open for you. And also, I like it when the game doesn't punish you for that. There are some games I'm thinking of that just punish you for being good and playing the good route, and you don't get the best items or stuff like that because you decide to be good. There's some games out there that actually punish you for playing the game on easy. I thought that was stupid. I bought this game to entertain myself, not to be frustrated, i.e. Dragon Age 2, and be cussing up a storm because it was just too freaking hard. I never was down with that. It was almost like somebody was just being a real jerk and just wanted to ruin this gaming experience because they think, well, if you play on easy, you're a punk, or if you play it a certain way, you're not inclusive. And I think that's another thing that makes it hard to be in the Sims community, because if you don't follow that narrative, you're painted as the enemy, and it's not that way. You're painted as someone who is just not open-minded, or someone, and that causes people to not get to know you. They don't go and ask you, well, why do you feel this way? Or why is it that you play your game this way? Or you don't know that, okay, well, this person was raised in the church, or this person wasn't raised in the church. I can't play my game for another reality if that's not the reality I was exposed to. I don't know no other reality. This is what I was born into. This is all I know. This is the choice I made to keep on with, because for me, God works. He always does.
It makes sense. It makes sense because it's your own world, the one that you create on the sim, and your own world is not gonna be entertained for someone else, but eventually can be interesting
for everybody. But also everybody can come in.
Yeah, but also, and it's kind of like also for someone else that eventually do not see how is your world, but eventually don't like it necessarily, but still that person has his own word. Every word is good at the end. What is good is to having respect also for someone else's vision of the game, and try to not going, my vision is better than yours. That's toxic, and it's not supposed to gonna happen. It's the same stuff that actually ruin a community.
That's right, and that's how I always wanted my Let's Plays to be. Anybody can watch this. Anybody. You have to believe. Just come and sit here and relax and let whatever it is I'm talking about uplift you, make you feel good. I want you to feel good and feel better after you watch a Let's Play of mine. I want you to feel like, you know what, Whitney did a lot of cooking in this episode. I think I might go to the kitchen and do a little cooking myself. Something, anything like that. And so if I talk about my faith, which I will 100% of the time, I will, it's only because it's like, I want to bless you. I want what I'm doing to bless you. Whether you believe in it or not, I wanted to make you feel like, you know what, I feel all right today. I was feeling crappy today, and I don't know why. And after watching this video, I feel like, I could face tomorrow morning. That's my ultimate goal. It is not to draw you in if you don't want to be drawn in. It is not to influence you if you don't want to be influenced. But if you can feel good at the end of the day, if you can lay down at night and sleep peacefully, then my goal is accomplished at that point.
Mhm.
So I would love it if people just gave each other the choice to play their own, their own choice to play their games the way they want to. I mean, if they put the pronouns and thing and stuff in there, let that be a choice for the player themselves to create whatever it is they want to play.
Mhm.
And it's not for us to sit there and judge them and say, well, you shouldn't play that game like that. Well, I paid for it. If the option is there, if that option or whatever's in the game is there, you can decide to allude yourself to it or not. But it's not for
Yeah,
those of
okay.
us to judge you to do that. You do what you want to do in your game. It's fine. There's somebody out there for something, whatever narrative you want. There's somebody out there who can give it to you.
Well, for someone that is not a believer, there is also Christian says, and he says, "Don't judge if you don't want to be judged." It's
That's
also
right.
real, that one. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to make you a question. Consider you've been playing The Sims from the first to the fourth. You have quite the insight from this. How have you experienced the evolution of the Sims series, including the pros and cons that you've observed with each title, and in what ways has this journey impacted you both as a gamer and as a person?
I think The Sims is a wonderful tool. To be used honestly in church. I'm just saying. I think The Sims can be used in such a way that it can really help people who have issues socially, like people who have issues with shyness. I try to have wit, my little wit, try to face something that real life wit
Mhm,
has problems with. And in that way it makes me feel like I'm conquering. It gives you don't really realize it, but you're changing on the inside the more you have your Sims face things that you have troubles facing with. And
mhm,
so from seeing how the communities have evolved from Sims 1, let's say, to Sims 2, it was such a very tight knit community, especially when the machinima thing started coming out and people were really creating their own movies and stories, and you just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do this in The Sims. And then people were
yeah.
right, people were coming up with their own little hack boxes and stuff that could give you full control of the Sims, so you can kind of
Mhm,
have them speak in the way you want them to speak, or move in a certain way you want them to move. And it was just next level. And I give all the credit to a young man whose name is his name, I think his screen name was Cute Guy something. And he taught me his work was the first machinima I ever saw on YouTube,
mhm,
back when YouTube was very, very young. And I didn't know you could do that in The Sims 2. And I reached out to him, and that boy taught me everything I know. And I give him credit for that, because I was able to tell my own story. Which on my channel you can see 2 episodes I did called "Be With Me Forever," and I had, at the time, there were some great voice actors at the time, just regular gamers who just had great voices. And I none of that could have been made without the cooperation of those people and just being taught what I know. So seeing at that time the community was very, very, very close, very tight knit. It didn't seem so saturated in a way, if that makes sense. It didn't seem like everybody was doing it, the machinima, or doing the let's plays when let's plays started becoming a thing on YouTube. And seeing how it's evolved now, I feel like nobody's able to be seen equally as it used to be. I do think that
mhm,
there are some elites that are being used to overshadow those who also can tell great stories in The Sims, who can also be able to share their personalities and who they are, so that you can pick these people out and find those you want to follow, who tells great stories, that type of thing. I think a lot of people are being drowned out
mhm,
because of the way the community is right now. I do think there's a lot of click type behavior
Oh.
going on. If you're not like this, or you're not telling your let's plays like this, or whatever the case may be, then you're not in it. And a lot of people get overshadowed. There's a lot of good players out there, but you can't see them because it's so saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I personally think that's just not fair, because I used to do, I think about 15 years ago, I used to do a Simmer showcase. And would showcase people who you never thought you would see, and give these people a chance to be seen, because I wanted to share whatever kind of growth I was having. I wanted to share that with them. I really don't care about being a big YouTuber. I just want to share that I love The Sims. That was never my MO. I didn't care about that. And there's a lot of Simmers who I've showcased who have grown much bigger than I have, and that's exactly the way I want it. I want you to surpass your teacher, if that makes sense. I want you to grow, and I'm not jealous or anything like that. I give praise to God because these people are able to show. But once it gets to a point where other people are overshadowed, they can't get their foot in the door, they can't grow, because other people are so well known that it overshadows everybody else. And especially these people are well known because they follow a narrative that seems like it closes out everybody else, especially Christians. It's not fair. At that point, the community is, for me, has become very toxic at that point. When if you have a difference in belief, then you're labeled as a bigot. You're labeled as somebody who's not inclusive. Someone who you need to be shut out because nobody wants to see what you got because you're not doing what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
And
I know of that.
Yeah, I mean, you see that, and I don't think that that's fair. I think everybody should do what they want to do with their Sims and be able to tell their story whether you agree with it or not. You don't have to watch it if you don't agree with it. You got to be able to think for yourself, if that makes sense. You have the power to control what goes through your eyes and your ears. And if you don't want to see a certain thing, you don't have to watch it. But don't be putting down other players or act like you're better than other players, or that you created something that's unique that other players haven't created before. Just because you feel like you can. There's a lot of people who come out with some beautiful custom content for skins and hair. Beautiful, especially when it comes to dark skin Sims. I mean, I will say this. This is the largest I've ever seen of a Black community in The Sims. This is huge. It wasn't that big back in the day, but they were there. But there's a lot of unsung heroes who have been forgotten because there are Black Simmers who made things that they feel like they were the first ones to do it, and they were not. They were the first ones to economize on it, to kind of make money off of it, but they weren't the first ones to do it. And I feel like the ones who did it first are just forgotten, that they deserve their flowers too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they need to be recognized as the ones who were the trailblazers for there being so much Sims of color, being recognized for the fact that there's a lot of ethnic hair in the game and all that stuff like that. But I don't like the narrative being that there was no recognition for Sims who were of color. There were plenty of recognition for that. It's just these are the first set of people to economize on it. So I just feel like people need to give the dues where it need to be due, and stop treating these people like they're gods, small g gods. I mean, a lot of these kids worship these people, and it's discerning. It really is.
You know, you brought up Be With Me Forever. I have plenty of questions for your first machinima project and stuff. How was the process of creating it for you?
You know, it's been so long, I can't remember what I did.
Oh,
I
really?
was, I was, cannot remember. It's so funny you asked me that. I was looking through my stuff a few months ago, and I was like, how did I do that? I actually have discs upon disc of just backed up stuff that are no longer on the internet of what I used to create the Sims 2 machinima. I mean, a treasure trove of stuff. And I can't remember how to use it. I don't remember how I was able to pull off half of that stuff. And I've asked a friend of mine to help me learn the new ways they're doing it with The Sims 4, which seems to be a bit more complicated than it was in The Sims 2. And because I would love to try to do a full-length feature film. And I'm scared. I am so nervous. I can't even begin to tell you how I did that process. I do know that because I'm a movie watcher, I love watching old movies, like the Golden Age movies, like Gone with the Wind and Anatomy of a Murder and Crepes of Wrath. I mean, I love old movies.
Oh, I have a friend like that. Oh,
I
you
love
two
him.
would definitely get along with that.
That's what I'm saying,
topic.
honey. You give me TCM, honey, and I'm happy as a bug in a rug because I just love old films. But it was because of those films and the process of how they filmed and how they storytell and how the lines are delivered and the emotions on the face. I use that knowledge to try to write some of the most dynamic scripts I can write. And try to bring something different. So Be With Me Forever was literally a consummation of just old movies I saw. And and I would try to, when I would write the scripts, I would send it to those who act, and I said, now put yourself in this person's shoes. You are this person and this is your emotion. Now I want you to give me 3 or 4 different lines of you saying this one line in different emotions, because for me as a person putting it together, it helps to find that right delivery for that scene. So I would do it like that, and I would sit there and I would just record all day long, just editing and recording and just having this vision in my mind of how it's supposed to play out. And Be With Me Forever just came to be a thing. I didn't get a chance to finish it because at that point I think The Sims 3 came out. And that was when I first started doing Let's Plays. So it moved on from that. And I think people calmed down on the Machinima for a while too after The Sims 3 came out.
Yeah, I always felt that was a shame that the Machinima style kind of died out.
It did.
Digital and all that stuff. And with Blender being somewhat accessible nowadays, or G-Pose, or programs like that I mean, I still can't figure either out, I will say. So there won't be
My sister is working in Blender and she knows it, and she's still learning it, but
I myself, I don't think I could do any work with either, because I'm gonna have to read tons and tons of tutorials to even know what to work.
So I don't even know how she knows half the stuff. So she's showing me stuff. She built the whole Pikachu in that thing, and I'm like, how'd you do
that? But yeah, you won't see any works from me, that's for sure, because I don't even know how to use.
I know it, but for the last several years, I have sat here writing page after page of just Let's Plays that I want to do, and this feature-length film that I want to do, and I want it to Be With Me Forever, but I want it to be a whole feature-length film, and I've asked a friend of mine to kind of give me access to some certain, packs. I don't need a lot,
right,
to do this, but to do this movie. And the one thing that's holding me back is, one, can I execute it the way I want it to? That's where the COVID came in, because now I got the overthinking and the my brain is just like the brain fog and all this stuff like that. But can I find voice actors? Nobody wants to voice act today.
And speaking of voice acting, I noticed in one of the shows, in Be With Me Forever, I noticed that there was a voice actor change in one of your characters. How did that come about to be, if you remember?
Oh yeah, let me think now. Hold on now. Oh, right. For Ephraim. Okay, well, first of all,
I was him, and I was also referring to Serena, because I know that was not the same voice actress.
Serena, who in the world was Serena?
Serena.
Oh, God, I can't even remember my own work.
Serena was the rival or something that told
Serena. Yes,
she was the femme fatale of the series. I mean, the first voice actress.
So like me then.
Don't be funny, Foxy. But the first voice actress. The first voice actress, I thought she fit the show. The series overall. I thought her voice fit the character to the T, 100%. Then I saw the second episode and saw that she had a voice change, and I was like, I wasn't really feeling her tone, because I thought she was a bit too girly sounding for the role. You kind of need someone that was more mature sounding, more aggressive-ish, the way the original was. But this one sounded too girly for me.
And I can't remember for the life of me, Lord help me, what that girl name was. I can't remember who I can't remember who she was.
Well,
Now, first of all, I have to repent, because Ephraim is actually a name of a guy that I had a crush on when I was in high school. And I thought his name was so pretty, and I just had to use it for this. Anyway, I just repent for that. But at the same time, the voice change for that one was dramatic for me. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Ephraim and not Zarina yet is because Ephraim, the guy that voiced Ephraim the first time, was perfect. Everybody wanted this boy. I can't call his name for nothing, but he was just great. He was in all the machinima, and I managed to land him for that role, and he was perfect. And then he disappeared. I don't know where that boy is. I don't know what his screen name is. I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest with you, but he disappeared. So that was dramatic for me. And I had a great simmer named future actor John, who played the voice for not for Ephraim, but for the other guy that Whitney liked. That one had 2 voice changes, I think. But for Zarina, the first person who voiced her was a young girl named Monique, and she still actually makes machinima. She still makes machinima. And I actually still have copies of her old videos that she did from 15, 16 years ago. I'm telling you, I got a treasure trove with stuff backed up. And she did that one. I thought she was perfect for Zarina because she had sort of this New York twang that came through when she spoke. And I just can't remember who the second girl was, but
yeah, I mean, the
some
second
people just couldn't fill the roles at the time.
She wasn't bad. She was just not right for that role specifically, in my opinion. But that's how I saw it, of course. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like the girl was named Sugar Sims. I think her name was Sugar Sims or something. I'm still friends with her. She was great. Everybody wanted her because she was doing her own series called she had a teen series that she was doing. And I loved her series. I can't remember the name of it, but it might still be on YouTube. But I think her name was Sugar Sims. And she did that. But a lot of people just when you have a voice actor who can't do it at the time because life, you always had to have a backup. And so it was all about trying to find the best fit at that time. And I think that's what I was doing, trying to find that best fit.
And I know you mentioned about the difficulties of finding voice actors earlier. I know nowadays, with technology evolving,
I was just ready to say,
because I was going to bring up the topic of AI voicing, and it was like, how do you feel about that technology being used in today's works versus using natural voice acting? How do you feel?
And how would you feel to having a Ray to be in a voice actor for you?
Jeez.
Well, to be honest with you, it's like a double-edged sword here. And one part of it, I don't have a problem with it at all, for the simple fact that it's hard to find voice actors right now. It wasn't easy accessible like it was in the Sims 2 days. So you have to kind of use what you got to use. And then not everybody has a voice manipulative program to kind of manipulate their voice and change the pitch and whatnot to do what you want it to do. So AI at that point would be a great thing to use. The only issue I have with AI is that it can't say certain words or portray it in the emotion correctly that you want it to be in. And I'll give you a prime example. It makes me laugh thinking about it. I'm a huge GTA fan. I love San Andreas. That's my favorite one. And somebody
I would have thought Vice City, actually.
I love Vice City. Don't get me wrong. I love Vice City too, girl. Because look, thanks to my brother,
it's my favorite, girl.
Yes, I love Vice City. I used to stay up all night and go run the strip and knock people out who are like on their rollerblades and make them fall over because it was so funny to me. But anyway, that's terrible. But I was watching, somebody had used a hacked mod that was for Vice City. And I can't remember the name of it. And they were using voice AI to voice the characters, and the characters could not say ballers for nothing. The voice AI couldn't say ballers. We got to go and deal with these ballers. And all this stuff, like, what? So the AI is not the best when it comes to pronunciation. It's not the best when it comes to showing that right affliction for that emotion. But at this point, I'm not complaining, because if you have to get it done the way you want it to, you have to do it yourself in these days. And unfortunately, I've been in that position too many times where I feel like if I want this done, I'm gonna have to do it myself. I'm gonna have to voice it, or I'm gonna have to implement it. And either way, I think it's use what you got. When you from someone like me who lives in a small rural town where we used to have a Walmart and it got shut down, long story short, don't want to talk about it. You have to use what you have available with you, which is for you, which is like Dollar General and Roses and Dollar Tree. So when you can't use Walmart, use what you got. Use what you got.
Well, yeah, no, I get it. My only issues, speaking of AI argument, it's just the way that eventually is used for replace entirely creativity,
Yes.
which to me is what is mostly wrong. And because don't get me wrong, AI can be a great tool. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have to replacing it with a lazy job for replacing a creativity done by someone else, then putting that passion that a machine cannot put in it,
Yes.
you're just like spitting to the face of those people. And to
I
me, it's
totally
just
agree.
so bad, so bad. Criticize me as long as you want.
I for me, AI has got to be that very last resort where you like, I can't do no better. There's a certain thing I need and I can't find it, or I can't find that person to do it. Let
Mhm,
me try it this way. Only as a last resort, but it should never be that first choice. And I do think it's an infiltration of people's creativity. Absolutely. Especially when it comes to artists like myself. Like I do art. And when it comes to using other people's artwork to try to create something new, it's nothing original about that. It just changed, it just rearranged pixels and you got this piece. But it's
mhm,
still a fragment of somebody else's hard work who stayed up all night and worked on this piece, who was going through something and they put it in their artwork. I do think it does. It's a form of manipulation. I do think it will be used in such a way that it's going to infiltrate in people's lives like it already has, without us asking it to. I mean, every time I check my phone, there's something new on it that I did not put on it. And with your PC as well, you got stuff being installed in there that you did not consent to, and it's watching you. Our phones listens to us, our PCs are listening to us. That's why you got ads and stuff that are so-called tailored for you, because your whatever AI is on the background is watching the websites you serve or the videos you watch. So when you're infiltrating in people's privacy, trying to be something of a watcher, I have an issue with that. And I do have an
Mm-hmm.
issue with people running towards that, asking it questions that you can get from somebody else, an actual human. Like I would never use AI to reference anything in the Bible, because AI doesn't, one way it's for it, the other way it's not. And then it's really information that is input by other people. It can cause you to be confused. And it's better just to go to the source to get your information. So
Mm-hmm.
when you start to talk to it like it's a human, like they had something in the news here in my local news about a month or so ago. This woman, she had the little AI boyfriends that was on her phone, and this woman was dead serious. She was just like, I love this man because he makes me feel like I'm beautiful. He makes me feel like I'm a person, that I'm actually real. He doesn't overlook me. And this woman was dead serious.
Oh, goodness gracious.
She was dead serious, and all I could do was just feel sorry for her, because she had no friends. Her family was sitting there around her, in the little interview room, just when they were talking to her about this, and they were looking at her like she was crazy. And it was it's sad when you get to that point. And then a part of me is like, well, it's also hard to find someone these days. But when you're dealing with an AI, something that can talk to you and tell you anything, and you don't have a mind for yourself, you'll believe anything that thing will tell you. And that's where it gets dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So a
mhm.
lot of people have to be mindful about this AI thing. Like you said, it can be used in a way that can be good, but I feel like it has to be operated by the person using it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Human hands, nothing creative always comes from the human hands. You need human hands to operate a lot of stuff, including AI. And that's what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't really get about it. I mean, yes, I know that people want to use it as a major tool and all that stuff, but you still need human hands to operate it, because
That's
without
right.
one or the other, it's not going to work by itself. It never
Mm-hmm.
works by itself. It
Mm-hmm.
just, you just can't. It can't.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, totally right. Just like Hammock said, these AI chatbots are mostly just telling you what you want to hear,
Oh, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
which is even directly or indirectly a manipulative way to brainwashing people's mind, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. You feel sorry for these people, and that was not the first case I saw of these people. They just feel like, this person makes me feel loved. And I'm thinking that's an illusion. That's not a person. You hear about these things about these AIs through the cameras. The parents, and they trying to monitor their children in the house and whatnot. And you hear about people hacking into them things and talking to these children. And I'm just like, see, now when you get the kids involved, see, now we got some problems that we need to stop.
Here's a bigger problem. I'd say a bigger problem is if it tries to imitate someone who've recently passed away, and I'm like,
exactly.
No,
that's
taking
what
it
I was
too
talking
far
about.
For me. That's taking it too far.
To me, when I see AI and I see these people make these images, especially of Jesus, they make these images of celebrities who have passed and they're talking. That to me, that is nothing short of necromancy.
Yeah,
and that's where it gets demonic because this person is dead. And I see.
And I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I see how people. They want to be like, well, this should help you with your grief. Or this, that, and the fourth. But when you got this thing talking, saying things that your loved one would have never said, and all of this, it's because of your grief. It's because that closeness, that spiritual closeness you have with that person, that manipulation can take place.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. They just don't think about that until it happens. And I believe it happens every single day, but nobody's talking about it because they don't want the thing of AI to become to cause chaos, if that makes sense.
I mean, hey, I agree with that, what you said about the AI portraying someone that's like passing away and all that stuff. I know I've read a story about certain actors' families, at least their families and stuff. They've sold their likenesses to these companies, and it's like, what were these people thinking? I know one of them in particular was Stan Lee. His likeness is apparently going to be utilized for AI, and I was like, what? Why?
I didn't even know he did that.
Well, it's his family that pretty much okayed.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah, he didn't do that.
He did not do that. It's his family, pretty much. So it's like, I mean, you know what? If they okayed it, fine, whatever. But it's just, don't go too far with it, is my take on it.
I think that's just crossing the line altogether because, like I said, these people can use these things to have your loved ones say things that they would have never said in their waking.
Yeah.
And because it's your loved one, I would never have one made of Marcus because that is just crazy to me. I feel like it's a disrespect to your loved one. Well, I want to keep talking. It's just like talking. It's still along the lines of talking to the dead.
No, I'm the same way. I would never get one made of my own mother. No,
it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me.
I mean, for one, that's just gonna depress the hell out of me. For one, heck out of me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I said. When I want to when I see things on TV that reminds me of my brother, I just like, Mark, I know that's you. That was a wink from you. Like, for instance, he's a huge fan of Spaceballs, the movie. I can't stand the movie, but he loves that movie, Lord. I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. It was that ending part of it where that alien came out that man's stomach, and I was like, oh my God. He showed that to me when I was a child, and it just messed me up. He's like, it's not real, sis. It's not real, but it's real to me. But anyway, they're coming out with a second one next year, and I know my brother would be over the moon.
I'm very interested on who the actors that have passed away have played certain characters there. I want to see who they're going to replace to play said characters. One of them, of course,
they want.
Well, I know one of them is
they were resurrected. They were resurrected the dead.
No. If anything, I would like to see Dot Matrix portrayed by Joan Rivers' daughter Melissa, because I think that's the only other person I could see playing Dot Matrix, other than Joan, obviously. But Joan has obviously passed on. Rest in peace. But Melissa Rivers, I feel like, would be the perfect replacement for her, in my opinion. So I would like to see her portray Dot Matrix. But that's my personal view on it. I mean, they could find someone that sounds like her. It wouldn't feel the same. But if you want someone closest to it... But it was a good way
of passing on the flowers to her.
Yeah, it would be. But if you want someone really close sounding to her, there's no other person than Melissa Rivers. Her own daughter.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I tell you, I was glad to see Rick Moranis. They had a little interview with them back here in April, and there he was, just aged so well. And I love him anyway from playing Barney in the Flintstones movie, because that's my movie. And of course, seeing him in Spaceballs and, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and all that kind of stuff like that. So seeing him after he sat down when his wife died in 94, I think she died, 92, 94, something like that. After he did the Flintstones, he sat down. Or after he did the very last Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie, he sat down. And just seeing him again looking just healthy and strong, and his little crow's feet and a little turkey waddle got on his throat. I mean, it was just so sweet to see him again. And I'm glad that they brought him back for that. But my brother would have been over the moon about that. He just would have been beside himself. And that's the kind of things I like to remember my loved one with. We have to go through that grieving process,
Right.
To come at peace about that thing. So trying to resurrect them through AI and other stuff, I just can't. I'm not down with that. That's just
Yeah.
disturbing in and of itself.
Yeah, and it's just unbelievable that you have the families of some of these people, Stan Lee included, that would accept this. Like it just makes me shake my head in general because you have
What you call's daughter spoke out against the. I can't even talk. What you call's daughter spoke out
whose daughter?
against. I'm hearing the film feedback. It's throwing me off. What you call's daughter spoke out against that. Oh Lord. What's his name? Robin Williams. She
Yeah.
spoke out against that and said that
rightfully so.
You guys need to stop this. You guys need to quit because it's a disrespect to me and whatnot. And I felt so bad for her because people were having her dad say things and act and do things in AI that he wouldn't do, and she just felt so grossed out about it. In fact, that was her word. She was just grossed out about it.
Right. Oh no, I definitely agree with what Zelda's saying there. Yeah. And speaking of, let's see. I guess we got more questions. Sam, do you have anything to add to that, or anything
Yeah,
else to add?
I was wondering. I noticed a little bit of in your channel. I noticed you have an episode 0 of the Inzoi demo. And it was
Yeah.
you were showcasing the character creation process and traits. Have you considered producing an episode 1 or even a series of Inzoi for your channel, whether live or recorded? If so, when might we expect to see this? Since the day you made the video, have you considered creating an episode 1 or perhaps a series of Inzoi to feature on your own channel?
You know what, to be honest with you, when I tried out Enjoy before all the big updates, but that was like the week it came out, whatnot, I was so confused by all the controls and all of that. It intimidated me. By the time I was done messing with it for that hour, I had a literal migraine. And I was like, I don't know if I could play this game. I don't know if I could portray it the way I do it in The Sims, because I got to learn all this new stuff. I've had 25 years to learn The Sims. I can do it backwards and forwards, but when it comes to this game, I felt like I was defeated. I was just like, I can't learn this. So I figured I would just wait until all the updates showed up and then try it, and I have not started it up since, and there's been well enough updates for it. I've kept it updated, but I've never tried it. And I think I might start it up and try it again. I have not gotten Paralyzed. Now I'm waiting for Paralyzed to kind of straighten itself out. I'm seeing some mixed reviews with it for right now. With the bugs that it had in it, which they have been on top of getting out those bug fixes. They have been on top of it. But I'm waiting on that one. But I think I may give Inzoi a try again and just reintroduce myself to it. I don't want to play it. I don't want to record myself playing it and be like, okay, guys, let me see if I can remember how to do this and do that. Or what do I do here and that? I don't want no if and ums and him and hawing, while I'm trying to figure out this game. So I may end up playing it for myself for a while to learn it, at least learn the basics, and then bring it back and just try to, show people what I could do with it. But I am pleased with how I made Wit. I thought she was cute. She got a bald head like I got one. So I thought it was just cute, but I'm intimidated by it.
Okay.
I really am.
Do you have?
I understand.
Do you have the same thoughts about Paralyzed if you've tried it yet, or do you plan on trying?
I haven't
Paralyzed?
tried it yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't tried it yet. I do want to play that. I feel like I haven't seen any of the gameplay on it on purpose because I didn't want to spoil myself. But I feel like I might be a little bit intimidated with it too. But I would like to see somebody play with it and just try to get a feel of it. But for right now, I just want to wait because, like I said, it's up in the air right now. I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews from. It did well its first day. That was incredible. The feat that it crossed, what was like 250,000 or something like that. On its first day, it sold so many. But that doesn't mean that the game is functional. And what I kept seeing was people saying it was crashing. A lot of just strange bugs. So I would like to wait at least a couple months before purchasing that. And just kind of see how it goes from there. But I don't feel so intimidated with Paralives right away. I feel like it's in a better position than Enzoy was on its opening day.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Paralives and Enzoy, and of course every other alternative to The Sims, do you feel that there will be something that will eventually replace The Sims overall down the road? Or do you still feel like The Sims itself has a place, but could probably use with a developer shakeup to get it to where it was in its glory days before? Like 2
I think it
era,
does need a
3 era, and all
shakeup.
that stuff?
I think it does need a shakeup. Absolutely. I thought for sure that Life by You was going to do that. Thought for sure. And then that whole mess that made it disappear. And I got my own theory on that. But I do think that The Sims need a nice rival. A nice rival that is doing just as well as it is. But we all know that The Sims will always reign supreme because it was the first.
Yeah.
But I do think it does need a bit of a fire lit up under it. And I do think a nice rival who has it together can give that good competitive, that good fighting sporting blood competitiveness that The Sims needs. I do think for a while that The Sims do need to be dethroned for a little while. I mean, even I had this talk with my 15-year-old niece about this, and she's only been in the world 15 years. And even she believes that, I think The Sims need to be chopped down a little bit. I think it needs something. And so I think that shakeup will also light a fire under us as longtime players. I don't want it to be a rivalry thing where, I think, you have where there's cliques, the Enzoy clique and the Paralives clique and then the Sims clique. Because I do remember when movies came out on PC. I don't know if anybody remember movies.
I remember that. It's a long time since I've heard that.
Gosh, that caused such a shook up. Like people was just like, I feel like I'm betraying The Sims playing this game, and this is better than The Sims. Good Lord, I don't want none of us to go through anything like that again. And I don't want it to disappear just as quickly as movies disappeared. It came out and then it was gone.
Forgotten in the past. Too. I always find it interesting that there are companies that make a really good game, like the movies, and then all of a sudden they just stop playing around with it or stop making it or not even follow up on it. And it makes you wonder in their minds, they probably have plenty of other projects, of course, but why did they decide to not follow up on it? Especially when it was hot. They came out with a
second one, and that was it.
Right.
They did, and I don't know why they stopped with that. And luckily, there are some websites who do abandonware, games that are no longer sold, PC games that are no longer sold, and you can get movies for free, to download that for free. And you can try it out for yourself. And it's strange that was all it had. And then it disappeared. It seemed like it was very simple to use, make your own movies, but I don't know. That's something that I will probably never find an answer to as to why I didn't continue. But I do think Paralives and Enzoy, not so much Enzoy, but Paralives can pose as a good threat to The Sims. I think it needs that.
To me, Paralives was like a throwback to the Sims 2 era because of how cartoony it was and pretty much out of world and all that stuff. So I feel like it could be a possible good contender. And they're already doing a good job at it, especially promising free updates and not trying to be greedy like EA.
That's like right.
EA and overdoing it with the expansions and the stuff packs and all that stuff. Oh my goodness! That's the kind of stuff that makes me want me to stop playing a game in the first place. So
right, that's true. It's so overwhelming.
I have barely played The Sims 4 these days because of those predatory business practices.
Yeah.
It just felt...
I mean, the marketplace. The marketplace was something we really did not need.
Oh, no.
Because we can get custom content for free, praise God, for those out there who work so hard in creating this custom content.
Yeah. And leave it to EA to make it predatory again.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we did that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, okay? I did get a few of the free items off the marketplace. I thought, oh, that's some pretty lips. So that's some pretty makeup. I did get that couple of them.
Free. Look, I'm okay with it as long as there's some free stuff to get. But
right,
as far as
but I do think that was something we didn't need.
Yeah. I mean, if I wanted to pay directly, because I do feel like the creators do deserve some sort of a not like a stipend, but like, like a tip of some sorts for their hard work. I could just go to their Patreons for that. That's how I feel, at least.
Exactly. And I do like that they have it set up to where, if you wanted to be a creator, you can create something on there. And then, if somebody buys your stuff, you get a little bit of that percentage. And it may not be a lot, but it adds up over time if people, download your stuff. Because does that. Bethesda and I just say Bethesda because I know they do it with their their creations thing that they gave people. They can make their own mods for Skyrim and their own mods for Fallout 4 and their own mods for Starfield. So if you wanted to be a creator for them, you can put something up there for people to buy. And they gave you a tool, the creations tool, to do that. So at least you can get a little bit of attention and a little bit of money for the time well spent on creating these mods. But it always really did confuse me as to why EA decided to create the marketplace. I'm not
other than money
on top of it. Well, other than that. But I didn't see it. I don't see it lasting too long. I think people are just kind of ignoring it a little bit because they can get it free. They can get it free online, whatever they want.
Speaking of Bethesda, I have a message for you. Please, you've done the remaster of Oblivion. Make it for Morrowind. Please do it.
That's right.
Do Morrowind.
But I played Oblivion.
Oh.
Yeah, Oblivion is really, really nice. And I do want to get the remastered and play through that again. I got my brother in on Oblivion and he but that was his first Bethesda game, and I was trying my best to get him in on the Fallout series, but I don't think he got a chance to mess with it. But other than that, yeah, definitely we do need a remaster of Morrowind for sure.
And considering that it's been the one that made me love and fall in love with the Elder Scrolls.
The last thing I played with me and my brother was the Elder Scrolls that came out on PS4 or 5, one of them, both of them. They go for both systems, but we were playing on that one, and it was so fun.
I believe Skyrim.
Probably yes.
Yeah. Yep, and we were playing that together online with that one. The Elder Scrolls Online is what we were playing, and it was so nice. It was so nice, and I will not play that game again. I won't do it because that was the last thing I played with him. And I leave it alone, but. Yeah, but other than that, it's been. I can't tell you how many times I've started up Fallout 4, and I just got finished playing through New Vegas again, and finally had a chance to play all the DLCs. And I played all the DLCs before. I will not play the pit again because that was scary as crap. But I did play the one where the machines, you were in Blue World, I think it was called, and the machines was looking at you. They had eyeballs like the TV. It were TV eyeballs, but there were eyeballs in the TV, and they were talking to you, talking crazy and stuff, and that was fun. But what do you expect from Bethesda? I mean, they know how to tell a story.
They do.
Very eldritch. Very eldritch, that one.
It was so strange.
Oh, and speaking of eyes on screen, my partner Netguy here knows that I am a huge horror fan, and I couldn't help but notice that you featured the game Sanitarium on your channel, and even created a series around it. And it's interesting, because because
It's so
most
left
of your
field of what I
games,
do, right?
most of your games are totally like cozy. Why Sanitarium is feels almost like an outsider among all of them. So I was wondering what drew you to this title that made you decide to playing it and develop an entire series, even though it differs from your usual themes.
I played Sanitarium when we got our PC. Back in the day, you could only get a PC from your phone company.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was when everybody started to have their own personal computers. And that game came as a sample DV demo for our brand new Windows 98 PC.
Mm-hmm.
I played that. I still have that demo, by the way. Got the demo and played it, and I was like, this game is amazing. And it only lets you get as far as to when you get to the second chapter.
Hmm.
And you had to go and, obviously buy the game. And that was all I had for a while, was just that demo. And I loved it so much until it finally came out and we bought it. And I just fell in love with Sanitarium. It's a psychological thriller. I'm not into horror games, but let me watch my brother play those games, and I can only watch him play it or somebody else play it. But I fell in love with that game. It's a psychological thriller. It is not a horror game. It is it's a psychological thriller. Really, it reminds me of the
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Zone, which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of the Twilight Zone. So it reminds you of the Twilight Zone, where this man is just going through. He's in his dream world. It seems like you see him have this car wrecked, and all of a sudden he's wake up in this place, and he doesn't know where he is, and it's a sanitarium, and he can't remember who he is. And so the basic thing of the game is him trying to find out what his identity is. Why is he there? Why is he seeing the things that he's seeing? Who are these? He's battling these inner demons that he dealt with in his waking, but he can't tell if he's awake or if he's asleep. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going through this whole thing, helping him closure with PTSD, where his sister died before he can give her toy that she asked for, and he always regretted that. And so he has to deal with that, come to copes with that, and some other things. And so the game was just a beautiful depiction of somebody who was going through things, and you're helping him face those things. And in the end, you find out what his purpose was. He wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
So that was so beautiful, and I'm so glad that there was never a remake of it, because I think whoever will remake it will mess it up. They will definitely turn it into a horror film, and like a horror type thing.
Sometimes when it's about the remakes, there is a good chance that people would make it a little bit wrong,
Mm,
because they tend to eventually to or misinterpret it, or even
mm-hmm.
changing it a little bit because they think it might be a good idea, a bit refreshing. But sometimes it's not the case. Then people just want to see it as it was intended before without adding anything extra, or they just rewrite the lore of the game entirely for just your artistic astro.
Well, I mean,
I agree.
in that case, I
I
would
agree.
rather the game be remastered for like newer consoles, modern consoles.
Oh yeah, update the graphics, but please don't change a thing, because the story is perfect as is. It's just like Outcast.
Yeah.
They remastered Outcast, and it was a PC game that came out in 1999. Beautiful game, just absolutely beautiful. Love the voice acting in it. And they remastered it, and they kept everything the same. The only thing they changed was the graphics, and it looks
I'm
so
fine with
good.
that. Even the graphics doesn't have to be new either, in my opinion, because I
Yeah,
know
no, right. Just keep it like it
they
is.
did remasters of older Baldur's Gate games, and one game in particular that I'm interested in, Planescape Torment, that's been available for modern consoles everywhere now. I think you might like
Mm-hmm.
that one too, wait, because it's actually the same premise as Sanitarium, but in a fantasy setting. Planescape
Right.
Torment. So I definitely recommend that for you if you ever get a chance to try it out, play it, and whatnot. And of course, I know Fox, you might hate me for this, but I also want to see New Vegas remastered as well.
It is.
Remastered.
It is going to be remastered.
To modern consoles, hopefully for the Switch 2 or Switch,
Oh
whichever.
yes.
So that a newer audience can experience what we experienced back then. Because that's what I liked
And
about
hopefully
it.
they can allow me to romance Craig Boone, because that was such a missed opportunity. I fell in love with that man, and I can romance everybody else in the game, but I can't romance him, and it's so stupid because his story was, him losing his wife, and then you help him cope with that, and then I can't be with it. I'm woman enough for him. I mean,
Netguy.
Yes.
He saved my life one time from a death claw. That don't call for no romance ending. That's just stupid. That is just stupid to me, and I will never be at peace about it unless I can do it in this remaster.
But what you said, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry.
No, I was saying, don't get me on Nick Valentine from Fallout 4, because that was my baby too, and I can't understand why I can't be with a synth.
Mm-hmm.
That's that I don't want to talk about
it. Speaking of Netguy, for what you said, that I'm gonna find you and biting you all your save games.
Yeah, Fox has a very over opinionated stance on remakes overall.
Yeah, for giving a little bit of a context, because of course you wouldn't know BlackEssence. My little issue is with the remake and remaster is pretty much the similar case to how it happened with The Last of Us episode 1 and 2. They have been released not that far ago, and they already done a remake. Again? Why is when there was the first release, they've done quite close enough from that a remake or remaster for the new console, pretty much. So, and that's been also portrayed for the PC. My thing is, if a game actually graphically is still good, is still viable, why do you have to do a remake that is not necessarily for that, when instead you have games that are much, much, much more older, so that would deserve a better chance to shine in favor of Netguy? For example, Legend of Dragoon is one of them, and Morrowind another one.
Yep.
Why don't you choose to do that, to pick that game for make a remaster or a remake instead of others? Then it have a graphic that still today works pretty fine, even like Fallout New Vegas. For how I remember, the graphic is it's still fine. It still work. Might be a little bit dated, but not that much dated.
Not that much at all.
Nope.
Not that much at all.
So to me, that's why I've been a little bit like about Fallout New Vegas having a remake, because if we think about it, it's not necessarily. There are other games that are much more urgent than having a remaster or a remake.
True. And I agree with that. And see, with Fallout New Vegas, I think all they wanted to do was just give it Fallout 4 graphics, which I'm down with that. I'm good with that. And if there were stories that they wanted to add to it, to enhance the story, just don't change the story. Enhance it, don't change it. If there was stuff they couldn't do at the time, because I do remember there was some stories they had to cut at last minute before they published New Vegas, and there was one in particular that we had no ending at that one. I can't remember what the story was, but it was just a little side thing. It wasn't part of the main storyline. And if they wanted to kind of finish up some loose ends on that with the remaster, I could be down with that. That's fine. But like you said with The Last of Us, if the graphics look fine, why are you doing a remaster of a remaster?
Yeah, basically. And there is also another thing that it's much more preoccupy me, even watching the last event, just like the state of play, than it happened yesterday. I don't know if you just seen it. I'm not spoiling that much.
I missed it yesterday. I missed it yesterday. Bad weather yesterday.
I'm not spoiling what happened, but generally what I've been seeing for events like that, then we have seen a predominance, but really big predominance of remakes of games not that old, and very few games that have that have been made just new ideas, new ideas. It's I once said, and for this Netguy remembers it very well, when I said, then to mark my word, the moment that we're gonna see in all these gaming events, and there is a predominance of remasters, it's gonna be the day that we can say is the death of creativity.
Because now it's because at that point, that's what I was saying about in the 90s, you had these video game companies who treated this thing like a literal firm. Like they were working at a firm. We talking about shirt and tie, I mean, all that. And these were I would say the younger boomers, like our parents, the younger boomers at the time working these things, and they didn't have any problem at all coming out with these games out of left field that were so strange, like games like Neverhood, or what was it called, Neverhood. Anyway, it was the claymation PC game. It was like the first of its kind. That was so different and so out of left field that it's a good game. Games like made by Humongous that we children grew up with, that we loved, those PC games like Spy Fox and
Freddy Fish.
Yes, Freddy Fish and all that are still relevant today, by the way. They are still amazing, by the way. That saw the daylight on Nintendo Wii. A few of those came out on the Wii and on the Switch.
Yeah, the early childhood games, because I know they have the rating for EC, early childhood, and all that stuff. Yeah,
right, and games. Those types of games, like Atlantis. There was one game called The Lost Thing of Atlantis or whatever. It was a PC game that came out in 97. 97 was a good year for fantasy games. Oh, yeah. And so these stories were just like strange stories that people wanted to tell. And you don't have anybody taking risks like that. So they feel like, well, what we had before worked, let's just remaster these. And you're going to get to the point where now you're over milking your stuff to where there's nothing new about it. There's nothing that you're changing about it. People need to take risks of whatever stories they want to tell. New takes on things that deal with exploration, new takes that takes a different take on storytelling, like Fallout, and that kind of stuff like that. People need to just be more risk taking with the ideas that they have. And I think if we get to that point and learn how our boomer parents did it, then I think things will feel fresh. Things will feel like, okay, well, there's new ideas. Then we're not coming out with 50,000 versions of Assassin's Creed. We're not coming out with, different versions of the Elder Scrolls, really, because I think the Elder Scrolls getting a little bit milked a little bit. Why are we waiting 15 years for Fallout 5? You guys have been working on Fallout 5 like 10
even
years
Elder
ago.
Scrolls 6.
Right. So why is it taking so long?
It's taking so long to the point where the Skyrim granny that I used to watch on YouTube.
Miss Shirley.
Yeah, Miss Shirley even gave up on it.
Yeah.
and she's going to be a character in the new one. But even she can't start waiting. I mean, I don't blame her for not waiting. I mean, she is getting up there in the age, so anytime now. Yeah, anytime right now, please.
You need to be doing it now, especially if you've been working on it for the last decade already. They had been working on Fallout 5 since the release of Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah.
So why are you talking about, well, y'all won't see it until possibly like 2030 somewhere? The world might not even be here now until then.
Probably this might also be stuck with another of the issues that we're gonna see. We see from the difference from how was before and how is now, because I do remember before, yes, there was also much more willing to do the risk to expressing your art and also to expressing your idea, putting it into a game and telling a story. That was the main focus. There was even not much caring about the graphic per se. The main focus before, when you were going to make a game, it was to telling a great story to be remembered. Now, if you try to remember at least the last games, then are so praised for the graphic. When you ask, do you remember what was the story of this game? And none were gonna remember anything after 1 year or less.
It's almost like it's hard to find people who have that mindset to tell a story. Like for Mass Effect, for example, that whole trilogy will just change your life. And I wrote about this time last year, I played through Mass Effect Andromeda. I didn't play it because of peer pressure of everybody saying, "Oh, it's so bad, it's so terrible, it's this, is that, the form. Oh, the graphics are off. Oh, and it's also a nude fest because it's all the." And then I bought it. Well, I didn't have to buy it. Thank you, EA, for giving it to me. But I got it.
Lucky.
And and I played it, and I said, "Dadgummit!" Then I had to go. I felt like conviction. It convicted me. I didn't have to do this, but I felt conviction. I said, "Let me recant what I said a decade ago. This is actually a very good game. The graphics in it is wonderful. The storyline's really good. It does scratch that itch for those of us who are about to have a fit for Mass Effect 4, technically. And it's just an overall really good game. The only problem I had with the game was that my character, when she ran, it looked like her behind was sagging. I don't know what it was. It was the way she ran. It just didn't set right. But I don't know. You couldn't help it. I just couldn't help it. Anyway, whatever.
It's because people were expecting that Andromeda was gonna be at the same level or even above the level of Mass Effect 3, but fans took it in the wrong way because the way that I seen Mass Effect Andromeda, I treat it not exactly as a main line. I treat it as a spin-off. And as a spin-off, it works. It tells a story on its own, not necessarily being relayed, because it also happened a lot of time after the events of Mass Effect. So even if we want to try to finding some connection, it just passes too much time for finding any relatively close connection. So I treat it as a spin-off. As a spin-off, it works fine. The story, okay, might not be the greatest story of all time, but it still works on its own. What I feel, like I said, is the problem on that is the initial premises for how Andromeda is been judged.
I agree. And I love that with Andromeda, it was taking place during the time of Mass Effect 1. So when they were already like over there across there, but by that time for them the events of Mass Effect 1 through 3 had already happened. It had already taken place. So they were never going to get any closure as if they were making it through the attack of the Reapers. However, while that, I love that they made a reference to that, like, y'all, we left during the time where the Reaper threat. We don't know if they're still alive or da. So it still gave an acknowledgement to the trilogy, even though that was not the main focus. And I love that. And I was just kicking myself when I was done. I was like, this was a really good game, and I enjoyed it. And I let peer pressure stop me from enjoying it. And that's how I feel about Saints Row 2022 and Starfield. It's like you guys let other people who hated it, this group of people hate it, and you didn't go and form your own judgment of this game. Buy the game and you form what you think about this game. And I'm so glad I did that when it came to Starfield and Saints Row. Especially both of those were day one buys. I bought them day one because I knew I would like it. And I went in there with no expectations. It wasn't hard to do, just expect nothing. And say, this is something brand new. Let me see what it's going to bring. And honey, I fell in love with it. So nobody can't tell me anything about Saints Row 2022 or Starfield and say they were whack games. Because for me, they tick all the boxes for me. They bring me joy. And I have been going above and beyond just to make sure that Bethesda understands. Don't give up on this game. Just like Fallout 76. You started off wrong with that. I think we all could agree with that. But over the years, it got better, and I got the game. I went on ahead and bought it from Walmart for like $20. It was on sale.
Well, I mean, we also got, as an example, for No Man's Sky. Even No Man's Sky just got a terrible start, but it just recovered over time.
And as another example, a game from CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077.
Exactly.
Bad launch, but over the years, they improved it, and now it's the best thing people could play right now.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I hate, that these two games are, well, at least Saints Row, because the only reason why I'm bringing up Saints Row is because it never got a chance to get better, and they just killed the company that developed it. And I hate that these people lost their their way of life, their earns a means of living because of fans who just felt like, I don't want to change. Why y'all change? Y'all didn't tell us y'all was gonna change when they told you, y'all, this is a reboot. We're going a different route. This is new. Be open-minded.
It also, I think, and it's not just the fandom, but I mean, I do agree that the fandom needs to think that way, but it's also the parent company that owns said company that needs to have a bigger open mind with it too, and not just think with dollar signs all over, because it's gonna set them up for disappointment if they're gonna put their expectations way too high.
That's right.
A bigger example of this, Sony with Concord.
Oh man, yeah.
That was that was gonna end up as a disaster anyways. But they made a very huge loss from it. And that's what happens when you overhype it. You gotta like...
I also think what destroyed Saints Row...
Yeah, you just
gotta... I also think
what's
messed up... I think what messed up Saints Row 2022 was that the face of it. Yeah. I don't think anybody really wanted the black woman to be on the front, and they was just like, man, what is this thing? Are y'all trying to be... Because that's what I kept saying. Y'all woke. Y'all, y'all understand what woke means. It means... willing to overlook known evil. That's what it means. Willing to overlook known evil. So what was evil about this woman being the boss? You're not playing as her. She was just the face of the box. That was it. And you make your own boss, as in all the games have always been. And the whole point was be your own boss. And I think a lot of people hated it because of that front cover. And that's why I said that there's a lot of hatred, unnecessary hatred in the gaming community where there shouldn't be any. I mean, this is where we can play characters and be different characters in different stories and different narratives. And where is this racism and this gender hate coming from? Well, I don't understand it.
And you
really don't understand it. Yeah. And now I'm seeing hate where people don't want to play as somebody, or they don't want to play games that don't give character customization. Character customization is key for me. I love that because I can play as myself and tell my own little story. But it didn't have to be that way. If I was closed-minded like that, I would have never met Arthur Morgan. Mm-hmm. I would have never met Carl Johnson. I would have never met whoever in whatever game. The point is, I would have never met these people if I had a closed mind of, I don't want to play with anybody unless they look like me. But
yeah.
But that's just my opinion on that. Now play whatever you want to play. If that's how you want to spend your money, who am I to tell you how you spend your money? Mm-hmm. But for me, you're missing out on a lot of things if you feel like you're one-minded like that. Oh, I only want to play it because it's a male. Oh, I don't want to play it because it's a female. You are missing out on potentially growing your library of classic games that you can go back and replay over and over again if you have this one-sided mindset. And I'm afraid a lot of our younger Gen Zs, older Gen Zs are carrying that mindset that unless it's got character customization, they don't want to play it.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point about the whole racism and portrayals of certain characters.
Also sexism.
And that too. You brought this up in an older video of yours from 2011. Black Women in Gaming. It starts now.
I remember that.
You remember that? I know you were talking about how most of the black female characters were exclusively regulated to sidekick roles, and rather than being lead protagonists. And of course, you were critical of their artistic development of said characters, and often lacking the realistic physical features and stuff that you see in Black Women, right? Do you feel that has changed these days in the current modern era of gaming versus back then when you made that video? Or
I have definitely seen that change quite a bit. There's one game that came out, I tried to watch it and it was doing so well until it had some deep dark stuff, and then I couldn't watch it. But it was I can't call it but a black female is the character, and the story takes place down in the South Bayous, down there in the South, like in Alabama. Or, thank you, that one. Midnight. That was so. Oh, it was that whole conversation between her and her mother. I was like, this game is off chain until it got dark. But other than that, that was beautiful. I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. They sounded Negroish. It was great. They sounded, like they were from the South of the Bayous. They had the twang. They had the mindset in that type of deep South, and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And other games since then, like the protagonist for Assassin's Creed. I think it was Assassin's Creed
Liberation.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
That I couldn't call it for nothing. They that was perfectly done. I have seen a lot of increase of black women being the face of it, but I still see that undercurrent of, oh Lord, they trying to be woke, or it's not woke if you're trying to include black women in that role, that she can kick booty just like white women can.
Yeah.
Well, more than that is just they try to telling a story and putting a black woman that is contextualized inside that story. It's not like it's forced because we want to be politically correct, like people just say nowadays.
Exactly. And I feel like every woman, no matter what color she is, and every man, no matter what color he is, can be a guy who can kick somebody's behind if he needs to, who could blow stuff up with the best of them. I think that if CJ can do it, and if Nico Bellic, his Russian self, can do it, if Tommy Vercetti, his Italian self, can do it, if he can do that, if Michael and them in GTA 5 can do it, then this black woman can do the same thing. There isn't anything forced, or that you have to there's nothing forced that you have to accept this, that you can't accept that this is something that happens in all races. There's a rumor going around that people want to know if they wanted a black girl to be the betrayal for a Bully game. If everybody remember Bully, that's another thing that Rockstar did that came out back in 2006.
I remember that game.
Yeah, I love that game. I got my sister in on it. She just adores that game. We got it for the Wii. My mother bought it by accident. She thought it was something my sister could use because she was experiencing bullying at school, and she went to Walmart and saw this game and was like, "This is about this." And I was like, "Mama, do you realize what you just bought?" And we fell in love with Bully. But there have been rumors going around, well, do y'all think there should be a young black girl to portray, Bully, her narrative in school? And I think that would be cool, because I don't think there's really no way around it. Just like you couldn't get around it in GTA. You're going to have a black protagonist somewhere in there. And so it would be cool to see that. It doesn't have to be that way, but it would be cool to see that way. But if Rockstar was to go that route, it is not the end of the world if you have a black girl as protagonist of her dealing with school or college or whatever she's in. So I do think that there's still a long way to go for that acceptance, without people saying, "Oh, that's woke. Y'all trying to be politically correct. Y'all trying to give everybody a chance," as if that's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's more visible, this issue, more with the women's side than with the man.
Oh yeah,
because we're so used to men being that protagonist. I never had a problem with it when I was a child. I didn't have a problem playing as two white guys in Contra, or playing as somebody who was Japanese but looked kind of white in Secret of Mana. You know what I'm saying? Or Chrono Trigger or something. I didn't think about that. That was not my thought.
I didn't think about it either. Heck, I mean, I didn't think about when I played these games back then. I mean, heck, I used to play the fighting game Dead or Alive, and you play all these female characters that have a specific look, and I was like, meh. They were just characters.
I didn't think about none of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Killer Instinct came out, I was like, there's a black girl in there with silver hair. She's supposed to be Storm from X-Men. I didn't know as a child, but I was like, oh man, there's a black girl in there. That's cool. That was new. That was fresh. They was trying to do something different with the fighting games, and that was pretty cool. And then when Elena came out in Street Fighter, that was even cool. And I was like, okay, that's all right. I love my Chun-Li, still love my Chun-Li, whatever the case may be, whatever. And then when it started becoming a norm, at that point, I thought that was really cool. And I thought we were past that, where, a black woman could be a front face of something. But ever since the events of 2020, and we get to be now, when you see a black woman's face on there, it's almost like, y'all trying to be woke. This is a bad thing.
Even before that, when the whole Gamergate stuff happened.
Oh yeah, that was a mess.
That was a huge mess, huge mess. And now everyone, for some reason, most of these gamers, quote unquote male gamers, hate seeing any kind of woman in a lead.
Yeah, if it's any kind of woman.
Any kind of woman. It doesn't matter what race she is. It's just, if it's a woman in general, they're like, ick.
Right, they think it's a feminism type thing, or they think it's that. Look, it's whatever narrative these companies want to tell. They want to tell it from a woman's perspective. That's great. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I do not care. This story better be right, and the game mechanics better be right.
It also shouldn't matter how he or she looked like the character in general.
Exactly.
I don't mind how this female character looks or what this male character looks, how big their stomach is, how short it is, how tall, etc., etc. They're just, and then at the end of the day, they're just pixels, pieces of information.
They're just pixels, just pieces of
fictional
information.
Characters. It shouldn't matter at the end of the day how they look like, because they don't exist.
Right. And I hate it when people get in this mindset. Well, dang. You act like you have to buy this game just because it's there. You don't have to buy it. You are in control of your money, even though the world's trying to change that.
No kidding.
You are in control of your money, of what you want to spend on what game you want to play. And if for some dumb reason you feel like you don't want to play a game because this woman doesn't look like you, or this man doesn't look like you, then that's your loss. I mean, you don't have to play it. That's fine.
Even if these games have character creators, I mean, you can make it look like you. What's stopping you from doing that?
That's what I'm saying. And that was my issue with Tomodachi. I said, look, y'all, don't worry about the pronouns. As soon as the pronouns came out, everybody was like, oh, I'm not playing this game. Didn't these people tell you, this is where people have selective hearing. They choose what they want to hear. And in that Nintendo Direct, they specifically said that you choose what your Miis are. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was something that Nintendo was avoiding for the first Tomodachi, and I do remember that first statement they came out with years ago when the first Tomodachi came out, when people said, well, y'all can, y'all add gay couples in this, and they was like, when you guys, they kind of gave you like this little glazed thing, like, well, we want this to keep it family friendly, and da 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 da. So they were basically saying like, no, at the time it was a no, and then they came out with this because we needed a new Tomodachi game. I mean, the game is great. They made it an option.
They made it an option.
Which was, I was fine with that. I was fine with that because they knew that everybody didn't play the same way. And like you said, Fox, that it wasn't forced upon you. This was something that you made for your own choice to come up with your own stories in your own little world. And nobody has a right to infiltrate in your world and say, you know what, I don't like it because of that. Mm-hmm. So if people had that mindset of, well, dang, it is my choice. I don't think we would have, if people thought with the brain, I don't think we'd have so many wars that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
With people like that. I don't care if it was the black girl in front page of Saints Row 2022. I knew that I was going to be playing as me.
In fact, and I totally agree. And there is also a counterpart. Then it just happened if you're gonna go in that direction, because even if thinking about that, even if this thing has been done because you want to sensibilize people to having a little bit a better vision of something like black woman, etc., even trans woman, and you're gonna forcing it, the narrative, forcefully. So making it not natural, you're not just doing an entire damage to the game per se, or even to the entire gaming community that is gonna playing that game, which of course will gonna cause a lot of troubles. But you also, on the other note, you also cause a damage to the cause that you, in the first place, want to try to sensibilize people.
Exactly.
Which has been one of my biggest critique that it happened, and on that Netguy knows until being nauseous about Dragon Age of Veilguard.
Yeah, right.
I got Inquisition. It's Inquisition I got. Oh, I know what. Wait, I have Vanguard too. Yeah. Yep.
I still think they need to do a trilogy release of all three. I'm still waiting for that.
You want the trilogy of Veilguard?
No, I want the trilogy of Dragon Age, like they did with the Mass Effect trilogy. I want a trilogy of
You think they would have done that by now? Oh my goodness!
I mean, I don't know if it's probably a difference in game engine. That's probably why maybe they might to remake the first 2 games before they do that. Who knows? We'll see though, but I don't know. I mean, heck, Summerfest is coming up this Friday, so we might be seeing some surprising announcements. Hopefully.
I just read one from my sister, and she just had a fit. Well, first of all, she's a huge fan of Rayman. Love Rayman. In fact, she names him Ray Ray. And she saw that they were coming out with a new Ray Ray game, and she liked to have a spell last night, and she was just so happy. Just seeing my niece and my sister just get giddy over games, just it shows me that I've helped raise them right. Yeah. And then I love that they are also doing a live action film of Streets of Rage.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I just hope that they get the right people to work on this movie, because we've had many occasions. There has been many occasions where Hollywood put in bad faithers, as I would call them. People that aren't even fans of video games, people that are just there for like a paycheck working on these shows. And when that happens, the project goes to crap.
Every time.
That's what happened with The Witcher. That's what happened with a recent Resident Evil movie that was horribly miscast.
Wait, they did another one. Was my girl Mila Jovovich still in it? Or
No.
Different?
This is a different one. It's Welcome to Raccoon City, and that was like I felt it was horribly miscast personally. So it stayed close to the game material, but it just felt like the wrong people were cast, and it was like a throwaway project. That's how I felt about it. I didn't watch the movie, but from what I saw from the stories, I'm glad I didn't. Or at least I didn't. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. But yeah, that's what happens when you put bad faithers in these positions of power. You got to have the right people to work on the right intellectual property, the right video game.
I feel like it needs to be a requirement that when it's a video game movie, these people during the casting thing, or they cast these people, they have to play through the game.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or watch somebody play through it so they can have a better idea of what this game is about, and they can portray it correctly.
I mean, I do feel that even though Paul W.S. Anderson, the person that made the original Resident Evil movies, I think he did make that a bit of a requirement somewhat. That's what I heard at least. But he did do a good job at portraying those video game characters too. But I am wondering how he would have taken the newer game characters, like Lady Dimitrescu, for example, because I know he's a huge fan of that character.
No, well, Dimitrescu wasn't huge per se.
No, but he was a huge fan of that character, so I was wondering where he would have portrayed that character in his movies. So that got me a bit curious, and there was like a lot of theories on what kind of direction he would take. Like, for example, she's a clone of Alice, Mila's character, or she's a clone of this other character, or maybe that's her daughter.
Claire or Grace or somebody.
Lots of crazy theories, but I feel he would have portrayed her well too, and did his own spin on it, which is what he really did with the past movies. That's how I saw them. They were his own creation, but they also stayed true to the source material somewhat, and it was a good mix. At least for the first 3 movies, I feel like that's how
It's been so long. I forgot that I haven't seen any of the Resident Evil movies except the first one, and that's when it first dropped. And me and my brother went to go see that one, and I was sitting there in my brain was trying to compare it to Resident Evil 1 on PS1. And I was thrown a bit from when Alice showed up, but I love Mila Jovovich. I mean, I think she's a wonderful lady. She is just fantastic in her acting. And I had a chance to speak to her a couple of times. She's just as sweet as she want to be. And her daughter looked just like her. Her eldest girl ever, good guy, looked just like her. So if they wanted to do like an offshoot of where Alice has a daughter, then they could just hire Ever, because she looked just like Mila. But
nice.
I don't know. The only Resident Evil movies I saw were all the animations, which I own, by the way. Why? Because Leon. Oh my goodness, that's my man. If Leon, now I will say this, I'm getting ready to sound like a total hypocrite of what I just said about those who don't want to play games unless it's got character customization. I won't touch a Resident Evil game unless it's got Leon in it.
No, you're right.
Unfortunately, I know. I feel like I can conquer the world when I'm playing as Leon because they done something to him. He's superhuman. They did something to him. But honey, girl, so but see, I can't even play it because I'm so scared. I can't even, I want to sit through Requiem. But
Requiem, they definitely changed the way they did the zombies, I will say. Because they made them smarter. They even made some of them talk. So they got some sort of consciousness there. And it's like, that's a very interesting lore change to the game. Because I never... At this point, we might be getting a game where we play a literal zombie soldier.
Oh my
down the
gosh!
road. I feel like that's a direction Capcom wants to take it. I'm feeling it. I know that's gonna happen.
That's probably what's gonna happen. And I was already scared to look at it. But I do like the part where Leon went and like he got one in the head, and then he pulled out his little thing and sharpened up his axe, and then he went and slacked his. That was cool. That was really cool. And I did read up that the women who designed Leon really focused on how he looked to make him look still have sex appeal, even though he's 51 years old. And
I'm
curious. I am actually curious to see how is Chris and stuff.
Girl, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Let's be honest. There are people in their 50s, even in their 60s, that have taken care of themselves really well.
My guy who plays Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters, Ernie Hudson. Yep. That man is 81 years old, and he looked like he just got into his early mid-50s real good.
Yep.
Real good. And he works out every single day.
He is Jim Goals. He absolutely Jim Goals and aging
He is
goals.
Perfect. Yes, I mean, beautiful chocolate skin. He just looked like he just got into his late 50s real good, and he 81 and he driving all the young girls wild. That last interview he did on Instagram, all the comments were all in it just from young girls or fellow millennials, just like, oh, he's so fine. And I was like, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
Hey, that's the goal that I want to have when I turn to his age. So yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but whatever
he sure done did it
that the Lord has given him,
it's blessed by genetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, gym goals, age goals, yes. So it's possible. It is possible if people put in the effort. People just got to put in the effort, the work, and all that stuff, and you'll get to that goal.
That's right. Be a Ghostbuster for life. Yep. Which, by the way, I'm a huge Ghostbuster fan.
And yeah, speaking of movies, so you already mentioned Ghostbusters. So have you been watching others recently that you're a fan of? Any other movie franchises?
Well, I wanted to see the new Mortal Kombat. And then I saw that it was a little dark, and I was like, well, shoot. Because I think Carl Urban, they picked the right one to play Johnny Cage. I thought that was really, really good. And now I really want to see the new Street Fighter, because I'm not a fan of 50 Cent, but I like him. And I can't think of anybody else to play Balrog except 50 Cent. He looks just like Balrog, and it's perfect casting. And I saw the trailers to it so far, and I think everybody looks really good. I really wish that they really would have redone what's my boy who's playing as Guile?
Cody Rhodes.
Thank you. I was about to say Roxy Rhodes. I don't know why. I've been playing a lot of My Sims. Yeah, Cody, they should have done better with his hair, because it looks cartoonish. It looks really, really strange. Now the over bleaching makes sense, but I do think they should have really kind of calmed his hair down just a little bit, look more realistic. But other than that, I think everybody is going to do a good job in that film, and I really, really can't wait to see it. And I hope they got somebody handsome for Vega, because I saw Vega, a little quick glimpse of Vega. So I hope there's a good looking dude for that part. But I do want to see that, most definitely. Voltron. I'm not sure if Voltron is coming out this year. Unfortunately, it's going straight to Amazon Prime, which I don't think is fair for Henry Cavill, because I love Henry Cavill, Ray. And I don't think that's fair for him. He has been really working on that film for the past 3 years. And Voltron.
I know he's working. He is also, because he's a fan of the Warhammer franchise, he's also working on something involving that IP as well.
Oh, the
Amazon's doing that one. Yep. Amazon they doing that one, and he's doing Highlander.
I mean, let's hope that they keep it up, though. I mean, Amazon did cancel a couple of projects that are starting to piss people off recently.
Aww.
So they are. And the war. Okay, as far as the Warhammer fandom is concerned, they need to be really careful, especially with that IP, because those fans can get crazy. They need to be really careful, and
especially with the lore.
Right, yeah, I think with Henry being such a diehard fan of it, I think he's gonna make sure that it's right. Mm-hmm. But I do hate that his Voltron's going straight to Amazon Prime. It's not even going into theaters, and I hate that for him.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the deal.
He's so unlucky.
Stuff, so it's a deal that they made. I mean, what can you do? You know.
Yeah, and then the new Legend of Zelda. I'm looking forward to that because the boy they picked for him, he do look like Link. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they dug him up, but I was like, oh my goodness. And people are going back and forth whether they want him to talk or not. And honestly, I'm thinking about Leon, my bad. Honestly, Link,
I mean, just saying, if Link would have been played by Leon, it would be a big jump of quality.
Yes, it would, girl. Yes, it would. Hello. So, he doesn't have to talk during the film. He could just say he can speak when he needs to speak, because that's how Link is in the games. He's not a mute per se. He just chooses to speak when he wants to speak, and most of the time he don't want to speak. So, he just has selective mutism, which is he's relatable. My niece has that is that way. She was born that way. She could talk just fine, and normally when it's people she wants to talk to, but if it's other people, she just goes mute. And so with Link, he can say what he needs to say if he has to say anything in the movie, but to me, he don't have to talk. I think you could do a movie just fine with a mute protagonist. We're used to the games. I mean, what's the issue now with the movie?
Right.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So Link could be fine. And then what's the other movie I wanted to see? He-Man. People already wrote that movie off. The guy who plays it is very handsome. He's very cute. So I wouldn't mind seeing He-Man and seeing how that goes, but people already just turn it off because he's too pretty. That's probably what it is. He's just too handsome.
I mean, hey, people said the same thing about the original actor too.
True. Oh, you mean Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. Well, Dolph Lundgren's still fine. That's another one that aged like fine wine too. Dolph Lundgren. So I mean, he'll always be my.
He took care of himself pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, he'll always be my Drago, but yeah, he aged fine too. So I have no qualms about what color a man is or how old he is, so long as he look good and has been well taken care of. But yeah, those are the only movies I've been looking forward to for right now. We did go see Super Mario Galaxy back here in April. Had a good time seeing that.
So did I. I saw it too, and I enjoyed it for what it is.
It was wonderful.
I think they did a fantastic job. I know some people might be divided on it. I have heard some division about it. But for me, as a Nintendo fan, and as someone that pretty much was a fan of the first movie, I think they did a wonderful job with it.
I think they did a great job too. I went in there just excited. It was, to me, going to the movies is like going to a huge concert. I don't know why I get so hyped. But it's just like, oh man, you see all the lights and the popcorn hit your nose, and then you see the concession stand over. Well, that's the first place I go to is concession stand, and it just, to me, it's like going right. It's just like me going to the movies, and it was me, my sister, my niece, and her mother, and we all went. My sister-in-law, we all went, and we all had on our Super Mario t-shirts. And when we went in, there was kids running all over the place dressed up as Super Mario characters. There was millennial parents in there dressed up, but they, had their Super Mario shirts on. And it was just, we just got hyped. And this particular movie theater was great because when you go in to the concession, you can tell them, oh, I'm going to be in room, whatever the movie is at. And I'm going to be in chair, whatever the chair number is. And they'll bring your food to you. So they'll bring your food to you and your chairs recline. So you can just kick your feet up literally and just sit there and watch the movie. And that's what we did. And honey, when Fox McCloud showed up on that screen, I lost my mind. In fact, there was some other millennials and they were like, "Oh snap, there you yo Fox." Yeah. But it was wonderful. We had a great time. So I love that. And going to the movies for me is a rare treat. We don't live close to movie theaters, so we have to drive far out to get to one.
And speaking of movies, because I know this particular movie was out recently, have you seen? And I know it does involve a singer that you enjoyed, and I think
it does.
Which one. Have you seen the movie based on Michael Jackson?
No, I haven't seen it yet. And you know what? There's a reason for that. Anytime his
Go ahead.
Go ahead and see what you get ready to say.
I was going to say, I've been wanting to ask you this question for a while now, so I saved it for the podcast, I will admit.
No, I have not got a chance to go see it, mainly because all the month of May, we were just doctor's appointments and just the weather been real bad and whatnot, and we just didn't get a chance to. But another reason was because anytime Michael's anniversary of his passing or his disappearance, whichever Michael wanted to do, comes up, or his birthday comes up, I've loved him for so long. He was the first man I fell in love with at 2 years old, the first man I ever saw. I loved him so long. I don't like to celebrate it with other people. I don't know why I'm that way. I don't know what it is. It's almost like I want to celebrate him on my own by myself. And I made plans to go see the movie, but I didn't want to see it with other fans. That's just so weird. I just didn't want to do it. So I'm waiting until it comes out on stream, and then I'll see it for myself so I can enjoy it for myself. And then after I see it, then I might gush about it with other people. But don't ask me why I'm that way. It's almost like he was such a part of my childhood and so precious to me, and like my first crush ever. I just don't want to share it with nobody.
Right.
And I just want to celebrate it by myself. So no, I haven't seen it, but I'm awake. I'm awake.
I know it's his nephew that's going to be portraying him, the son of Jermaine Jackson. Yeah, the son of Jermaine Jackson. Yep.
And see, I don't like Jermaine.
the irony.
The irony of that is I don't like Jermaine. He just never rubbed me the right way, and the things that he's done to try to make money off his brother and all that, I just don't like Jermaine. But I am glad that they kept it within the family, and I don't think anybody else could have played it well but Jafar.
Right. I know they are also planning on a sequel to that movie as well. So they're splitting it into two. This is the first part. So the second part is being worked on as we speak.
I think they said it was coming out March or May of next year.
And I'm guessing.
And what are they supposed to be the second part?
Oh, the second part, it covers. Well, the first part covers the first half of his life. So.
The first era.
Yeah, the first
era. So the second part is going to be focused on the scandals.
I think it might. It might, but they might not put that in there, honestly.
Well, yeah, I know.
May I say then probably is a little bit of a bad taste during it.
A what?
Yeah.
Bad taste.
A bad taste. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do it, to be honest with you. I think they want to avoid that at all costs because they don't even just want to bring... Because he's been cleared from all of that.
He has been cleared. I've read about that.
Yeah, it's been proven that he didn't do any of that mess. And so I guess they may avoid that, to be honest with you.
They could avoid that because it all ended up being false anyways. Even the people that did the Saving Neverland movie, I think is what it's called. I don't remember. They were on tape lying about it. They admitted that they lied about the whole thing. So I guess you could say he got vindicated there in a way or another. So, I mean, but people are not going to take it that way either. You're always going to have one half of the people that are like, oh, finally he's been vindicated. And then you have the other half that are still putting on their hatred onto that. And it's like,
oh yeah, that's people who still believe it. And it's like, you got truth. This is one of those rare phenomenon Twilight Zone moments where the truth is in your face. And you still don't want to believe it. It boggles my mind. It's so crazy.
I mean, not that I want to get political, but I mean, look who's president now.
Yeah.
I did not want to say that, but I mean, considering people, it's how the world is. This is
It's
how
just
the world
really
is
just
becoming.
people's perceptions. It really,
Yeah.
really, and it's better to go in it getting your own facts and own observing it for yourself with through a filter. So that you understand, okay, well, this is the reason why it is the way it is, and why people just, you just get to look at the bigger picture and what the Lord is doing, especially when it comes to things like Michael, because even the people who accused him, I think the brother, no, not the brother, the son killed himself, and then the father did after that. I hope I got that right. I know that the son committed suicide, I think, and then the father did too, or something like that, or the father died, something like that. So when that stuff like that happens, and you find out the truth behind it stuff, I mean, guilt will show every single time. But no, I haven't seen that movie. I really do, and I really am looking forward to the Street Fighter, most definitely.
And I think they're gonna make one on the Cyberpunk games as well. There's gonna be a lot of video game movies that they're gonna make. I mean, the only thing that I hope is that they have the right people working on it. As I said before, right people, and you'll have the formula for the best movie ever.
I agree. You know what movie I wouldn't mind seeing being made? It's a game that EA totally just threw off to the side.
And what was that?
Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge, huh? They planned it. There was one company, I think it was Lionsgate, that had the rights to it at one point, but then it just fell to the wayside somehow. I don't know what happens to it right now. So either it's in limbo or someone else got the rights. Who knows?
It'd be nice to see a take on that. And I think when that game came out, all of a sudden everybody wanted to parkour. Gosh, I wanted to do it, but see, there was nothing for me to parkour. I'm out here in the woods. There was nothing for me to climb over and kill myself over, you know. But the game, I thought it was a wonderful game. The first game was a little tough. I bought the second game for PS4 and have not played it yet. I must have bought it like 6 or 7 years ago on sale and have not played it yet. And now that I'm brought up, I may give it a swing because I do like Faith. I think she was amazing. As far as a protagonist, I thought she was really, really cool, even though you really didn't see her face as much in either one of the games. But I think that would make a nice film, something different. Would love to finally have a Batman Beyond film. I mean, that is long past overdue.
Yeah,
should have been had a Batman Beyond film.
I pretty much thought they were gonna get Taylor Lautner to play Terry at one point, but you know.
It'd be nice. But those are the things I said that cause risks, and people are afraid to take a risk. The one thing we kept hearing 25 years ago is what we're hearing today, that it would be too expensive to make, and I believe that's just a cop-out.
No kidding.
I really do.
I would have been interested to see who would they have playing Maxine from that series, because that was a cool character from Batman Beyond. Yes, she was. She loved was Max.
She was amazing. That was my girl. I used to write fan fiction on fanfiction.net. I used to write fan fiction of Batman Beyond because that was my comfort show. I got all the series on DVD. I got the specials on VHS. I mean, I was the Batman Beyond girl. But I've always prayed for them to do a movie, and I mean, only now we're getting the Captain Planet movie.
Yeah. And it would have been interesting because Max as a character was not someone we'd seen back then. It would be considered a rarity to see someone like Max as a character
in her position.
In her position, she was not treated as a sidekick. She was an equal. That's how I saw her to Terry.
And what makes me so mad is I have the original releases. I did a video on this. I have the original releases when they first released the show on DVD, and they had the special features on there, and they were talking to Bruce Timm and some other guy that was one of the writers, and another guy like this Asian man that was there, and he was a writer as well. And this one made me mad. I was so angry, and I can't believe they made it onto the DVD. But they were talking to them, and the Asian male said, you know, as one of the writers, we wanted Terry and Max to be together, and we were going to do an episode where they got together. And he said, I pushed for it, but it just didn't go through. And all of a sudden, Bruce Timm and the other guy just starts going, no way, she's like one of the guys.
Oh, brother.
That's what Bruce Timm said. And I'm sitting here looking at the TV like, did he just say that? Because I know that a lot of people think Black women are masculine anyway. And so that coming from him, saying that she was just one of the guys, I thought that was just so rude. I mean, I thought it was just disrespectful. And while they were going ill, no way, no way. His yes man sitting next to him, no way. The guy who was working the camera, he knew what he was doing. He put the camera on the Asian male, and the Asian male was just sitting there like disrespected. Like he had this look on his face, like it was literally like 2 against 1. You had 2 of them sitting on the other side of the couch, and then you had the Asian male writer. And while they were going off about that, he just had this look on his face like, okay, y'all didn't have to go that hard on about how you didn't agree with it.
And she never really came off that masculine to me, anyways. I thought.
I don't see where they got that from.
I don't know where they got that from either, because she never, all the time that I saw that show, she never gave off that energy to me.
No, and It made sense for him to be with Max because he was always with her anyway. And I couldn't stand his girlfriend Dana anyway because all she did was complain. And here we go.
I'll be honest, all she did was complain. I wasn't a fan of Dana either.
I don't think really, nobody in their right mind was a fan of Dana.
I guess they kind of sort of redeemed her, quote unquote, in the finale of Justice League Unlimited where we saw
No, they didn't. No, they did not.
You don't think so?
No, they did not because she.
I said that's why I said quote unquote redeemed because that's questionable in itself. Okay, yeah, she knew the secret. So what? Now what?
Why is she? Thank you. That's what I was like. Me and my sister debate about this all the time. We're on the same side, but she was like, I don't understand that. She knows who he is now. She knows what he has to do and what he has been doing, and yet she's still complaining. Oh, you're late, and this, that, and the fourth. And I'm thinking, what would have been a wow factor? That wasn't a wow factor. That was a frustration factor for me. What would have been a wow factor if it was Maxine standing there and he had proposed to her? But that, as my parents would say, that seems too much like the right thing to do.
No kidding.
I'm just, it was such
honestly,
a missed opportunity.
I preferred Melanie over Dana, personally.
A lot of people like Melanie.
No,
she was kind of, he would have had problems with her because she didn't know whether she wanted to be good or bad, and he would have had to make, she would have stressed him out. You know, I have to arrest you. Okay, I love you.
She was kind of like a throwback to Selena Kyle almost.
She really was.
She really was. Like, they did her well, and then all of that writing happened, and I feel like they did her dirty in some way. But just relegating
and I think the guy, the other writer, the Asian guy, he really should have had his chance. Should have been able to write that in there because that would have been a great wow factor. And the fact that they messed it up for the Justice League finale was just.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Running of the time. I mean, I'm.
Still but the time is gonna come. They're gonna get together. Dadgummit. I think they already did that. In a comic book. I think in the comics they
there was a rivalry between her and Dana. I think they did that in the comics.
Oh man, for real?
Yeah.
You got to tell me what copy it is because I want to read that for myself.
I mean, I don't remember which issue it was, but I know there was some sort of tension between the two.
Ooh, I'll have to look that up for real. Because I would.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, in the show, you would have thought that Dana would have felt some type of way with him being with Max all the time. And I think
at that time they already broke up at the time. So when he got with Melanie, they got they have been broken up pretty much. So he was pretty much a single man, and here comes in Melanie. Pretty much.
Boy, she was a wrench in the cog right there, boy. I like how they tried to portray Maxine as to get with that one guy, the black guy. What was his name? He was a football player on the team, and they was trying to get her off with him, and she wasn't really feeling him like that.
Right.
And then they tried to have a little thing between. I know fans wanted Maxine to get with the guy with the red hair. What is his name? He was a jerk. He was a jerk to Terry. He was just like the school bully. What was his name? He had red hair. I can't call his name for nothing in the world. But they tried to write Maxine. The fans did. The fanfics. They tried to have Maxine be in a relationship with him. He had a fire streak in his hair. Did they call him a streak?
I don't remember.
I might be getting him mixed up with the guy from Static Shock.
Right. I hear you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And well, at least the portrayal as far as I'm very glad that they at least kept Amanda Waller 100% intact in the DCU animated shows. So pretty much down to the T, they portrayed her pretty well. I'm glad she's still portrayed well, even to this day. And especially when what was the actress name again? The live action actress? I forgot her name now. Goodness. Do you remember?
Oh Lord. I know who you talking about. I can see her face just as clear in my mind. I
Ah,
can't call that girl thing.
I forgot her
I
name.
can't call it. Well, I tell you, it's
Ah, Viola Davis. That's her. Yeah,
Oh, Viola.
yeah. Viola Davis portrayed her very well.
Well, Viola Davis is good at anything that she's in.
Oh, of
Anything that she
course,
walks in,
of course.
she just portrays it so well.
Yep, and she's done a good job as Amanda, and that's what people
Mm-hmm.
remember her as to this day, because of the Suicide Squad movie.
Just
Just as
great.
cold and ruthless as always.
She has an air of authority about her that's like, you don't cross that one.
Oh yeah.
Don't just step to Viola any kind of way because she'll put you in check.
Mm-hmm.
she, she's a great lady. She really is.
Yep, I agree. Uh, Fox, do you have any other questions?
I do have one last one, and this is quite big one. So,
Go ahead.
um, we pretty much have been questioning a situation that has been happening during these recent years when we saw a lot of contradictions in both the gaming industry and some of the journalism that moves around the AAA realities, the AA, and the big companies. And most of it also, we noticed the lack of transparency and even worse, the conflict of interest between the gaming industry, content creators, journalists, and in general, we've seen that then the ultimate one that paid the price from it is the gaming community. And wanted to ask, what is your personal opinion about what surrounds those arguments? And if you do believe there is a disconnection between how companies perceive the gaming world and how gamers experience it, and in also what steps do you think should be taken to address this crisis and to solving it within the industry?
Well, it's such a big, broad umbrella of stuff. There's like 100 ways you can attack that, and I think a lot of the issues with the gaming companies today is that a lot of the baby boomers who were running them, who built that foundation of just how the gaming should be um, portrayed as a way to
Gatekeepers.
relax. And can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I was saying it kind of like gatekeepers.
Exactly. And they were the ones that built that foundation of how gaming entertainment and gaming can be used in households where it should be to be able to relax and to build social skills and to be able to all of that. I think that narrative changed once the change of how money was dealt with in this country.
Hmm.
How the economy changes. When the economy goes down, people stop buying.
Yeah.
And when they stop buying, the companies start freaking out like, "Oh Lord, we're not selling, or people's not buying what we're trying to push, and we got to be able to stay afloat. Otherwise, we'll just we'll fumble like everything else, and we can't come back from this." So they found ways to with the microtransactions and stuff like that to try to kind of keep people hooked.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate too. I think mental health plays a big part in this thing as well because though gaming is a wonderful lifestyle, it's not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle for a lot of us. um I think people take advantage of those who have mental health problems, and when they feel like, okay, well, a lot of these people are going to pay regardless of what we say or what we do, they take advantage of people like that. And people who have mental health problems are the main ones um who get targeted the most, or who form addictions the most, where
Mhm.
money is being spent on games, and how the community portrays it as if you're not if you're not caught up with the best of us, you're going to be left behind. It really paints a fear of missing out for a lot of us. And so mental health wise, I think advantage is being taken of by these companies because they know that certain consumers, they're able to track us. They can see how much we spend on gaming, or they see how much time we spend through our consoles. I mean, these people can hack into our consoles and see exactly how much time we spend on these things. And so they try to use that as a way to offer deals on games that we've had in our wish list for a long time. They offer ways to try to get you to spend more than what you want to by offering up, percentages on certain games. You can get double this, or that kind of stuff. And I think it gets tragic when people can't tell the difference between reality and virtual reality. And so I do think a lot of these companies prey on people like that, based on how they track us. And that's why this AI thing is just so big, because they can watch what we're doing. They can hear what we're saying. And so that's how they use to take advantage. I think it's an epidemic of itself, because it's causing people to spend money on things that they otherwise need to hold on to for food, for housing. It's hard enough for people to maintain housing, because the economy, the dollar is the value of the dollar is being disrupted, is being corrupted. The thing where we stopped making pennies. I mean, we never thought we'd live in our lifetime where pennies are being no longer made. I just saw a commercial just yesterday where they're saying, spend money now to get this roll of 2025 pennies, because we stopped making them. So what am I going to do with a roll of 2025 pennies? I mean, they believe they can get you to get them so that the value increase in them, because they're going to be so rare. And so I do think a lot of companies use information like that to try to make the consumer spend more than what they actually have. And they treat it like an actual addiction. And that's where mental health needs to come into place, where we need services where, for people who use gaming as a way to escape, we also need to have that balance built there for people who have that, because gaming is a wonderful thing, but it can be a problem when it's all you consume. When you can't, you know what I'm saying, can't tell the difference between virtual reality or life. So I do think a lot of these companies take advantage of that.
No, I get it. I understand that, but I also think that it's also crucial that actually we're gonna give and the proper responsibilities from both of them when actually they do this type of politic that is extremely damaging on the first place. I know that for them is lucrative because they get money from that, but I personally feeling that both gaming industry but also the journalists and just like also the content creators just get into a twist where they pretty much are lucrative at the expense of the gamers, and without even being sorry for the bad way, of course, then they're gonna reach the result when they actually could having a more transparent and a more morally integrity for delivering the same result.
Agree. I do think the microtransactions need to stop. I don't think there was ever a need for any of those things. I don't like the manipulation of, if you have to get this DLC or this in order to expand on your gaming, or to get certain things, or to expand on it when you really don't need it. And I think it all boils down to a choice, and it should be the choice of the consumer, because whether the companies think about it or not, we're the ones who pay for their food at night. We're the ones who paying for the housing. We're the ones who paying for those doctor's appointments, because that money is coming from us. And so at that point, when they get to a place where they're using that as to take advantage of the consumer, that's where I think a lot of us don't realize how much power we actually have. We can actually stop that, but it has to be a want to stop that. It has to be you have to come to a place where you say, am I willing to sacrifice to sacrifice stopping this hobby for a while because of how I'm being consumed and tracked and followed. And I do think that the companies, it's changing of hands now. They don't have the same mindset as the younger boomers or the older boomers had back in the day, where it was really all about the joy of the consumer and making sure the consumer gets exactly what they're paying for. Now it's all about just, let's get this money, let's get this no means necessary. And that's the mindset that's destroying the gaming community completely. I mean, for me, I've adopted ways to say, if I like the game, but if I can't afford it, I'm not going to buy it. Or if I can't afford it, I'm not going to buy it just because everybody else has it. You know,
or you can wait, and then there are actually
I can
sales.
wait. Thank you. And that's my big thing now. I'll just wait till it come on sale. I mean, there's games that sit on my backlog right now that's been sitting there for the past 10 years, and I ain't bought them suckers yet because it's just because life keeps happening, other things come into place, but I'm not in a hurry. And I think
Mhm.
that's the one thing that has people hung up is they have a fear of missing out. If they don't get it now, then they're going to miss out and not be part of the in crowd or have some type of accolades or use that to gain followers or whatnot on their channels or social
Mhm.
media. And that to me, that's like a way of manipulation. That's a way of like
Oh
having
yeah,
somebody
it
in a
is.
ball and chain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but it is manipulation. It is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely manipulation for the same reason. Pretty much the entire thing of buying a game from the pre-order is just not making sense at all because you're
Mm-mm.
just taking a game, then it's not even been polished. You just
Right.
the people that are can be journalists, can be the same advertising companies, content creators. They're just like hyping you to buying from the pre-order a game that is not even been polished,
It's not
and
even
you're
done.
gonna and it's not even done because they have their own interest for that. It's in their own interest because the company be like, dear content creator, you gotta pushing your community to buying our games for the pre-order, because
Mm-hmm.
if we don't sell a certain amount of games for the pre-orders, the people then we have the investors for are gonna thinking then our project is a failure. So it's legit a chain. Then it's a wheel that keeps spinning.
Yeah. And I
And
and it made
yeah.
me think about what you said that these people they do that back in the day in the 90s. You or the 90s early 2000s, you bought the
Mhm.
game as soon as it dropped. You didn't think about, oh, this game might have bugs in it or this thing. You didn't think about that because games back then didn't have bugs in it.
Yeah,
That
it came
you
out
bought the
polished.
game, it was done, it was finished, it was polished. You didn't have to
Mhm.
worry about waiting for an update for it. You just bought the game day one and you knew that you were getting your money's worth for it because the
Mhm.
game was done and finished. Now the ball and chain is, well, we're not done with it, so we're just going to sell you half this game, and then with your money coming in, then we'll have enough to finish the game. And that's where once we started knowing that, figuring out years ago that that's what was going on, it was almost like you wanted to backlash again or say, well, wait a minute, I'm not giving you my hard on 50 something dollars or whatever, and no game should cost no more than 50 or
Yeah.
40 really. And until I'm not going to give you my money if this game is not done. Now it's been so long of us being on this drug, like I don't want to miss out, but I also want to get this game, this manipulation thing going on where it's almost like we're desensitized to it and we don't know how to act. And so now we're so used to being taken, we're still giving money to these companies even though these games are not finished or not polished.
Mhm.
And that's where we don't realize we have a lot of power over what these people do. We can really just stop. We can say, okay, well, that's enough. I'm not buying anything else. It really comes down to this: with the Switch 2 being as high as it is, we still haven't bought the Switch 2 because it's just too freaking high. And it doesn't make sense for it to go up another $100 or right at $500, even though I have spent $500 on my 360 and I think it was like
Mhm.
500 for the PS4 or 3 or whatever it was. To me, that is ridiculous. And I don't plan to buy the system until it comes down a lot in price to where it makes sense. Like $399, maybe $299 seems to be better to me.
No, yeah, in
Um,
fact.
you know what I mean? So and
Yeah,
with
yeah.
games, it doesn't make sense to pay $500 for a system and then you can't even play on it because the games are 80 something dollars. I don't know where these people are reaching these numbers from. I don't understand it. And that's where you're taking advantage of the consumer thing and you're going to get the money every single time.
Which,
For those.
this has also been one of the reasons why I stopped even following consoles in general. Because I do remember, because like you, I coming also from the NES and the Super
Mhm.
Nintendo. I haven't got the Super Nintendo, so
Mm.
I made my big jump from Nintendo to PS1, pretty much. In between, I had the computer, but
It works.
it,
It works. But the thing about those
after the
systems was they grew with you. My original SNES is out there in my craft house right now.
Mhm.
And I can start that thing up and it'll still work because it grew with me. Whereas now I've gotten to the point where with the change of the economy and how people's minds are different now, and the like I said, the difference of the dollar, the value of the dollar, and just the way people operate. I told my sister, I said,
Mhm.
I think we're gonna have to stop here at the PS5. Now, by the grace of God, I was able to get this PS5, but it may just
There
end
is
right
also,
there
yeah, and there is
because
also a huge difference also on that from how it was before and how it's now. Before, when you had the PlayStation 1 to PS2, you got the jump, the generational jump between these two consoles. When you're
mhm,
just gonna comparing a PS4 and PS5, you don't even see that generational jump.
you
You
really
just
don't.
see, no, you really don't, because you just seen then for PS5, the games that you were playing in PS4 are just working better.
Exactly.
So-
That's really all
so-
it is. And at least with the PS1 and 5, you had not only that generational jump, but you also had that backwards compatibility. It's almost like Sony and Microsoft don't want you to be able to do that. They want you to spend what they want you to spend on something new. With the PS2, you can play PS1 games. With the
Mhm.
PS3, for some reason, that's where I saw the trouble there. They just skipped completely over the PS2 and went straight to PS1. So
Yeah,
I never understood why we couldn't do backwards compatibility on the PS3 for the PS2 games. You can't play PS2 games on that one. So I don't know. It seems very gritty. They want you to focus on what they want you to focus on in this here and now. They don't want you to go back to what you had, because if you did that, you won't spend as much money.
yeah, you wouldn't, and not only that, if you would, because even if you think about it, there are not exactly that many games that then come out for a specific console, because the time span between a console and the other, it just became very short nowadays.
It is very
So
short.
so
Yep.
if you just make it retro compatibility, you
Hmm.
just also removing a reason for someone to getting the next one.
Hmm.
Because if for the next one I'm gonna play like one game probably, why should I even spend $700 for an entire console that I'm pretty much gonna using for only one game?
Exactly.
It wouldn't have
Exactly.
make sense. So they just stopped doing that because it's not convenient for them. And
That's
the
right.
moment then the console stop to being support or releasing games and just passing to the other one,
Mhm.
you're just not even able to selling yours because you're just not gonna work for anything.
That's right. That's right. And that's why the retro gaming thing is blowing up again, which I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that people are coming out with their own consoles just to play retro games, because if we all sit down and think about it, all of us have spent thousands and thousands of dollars over a big span of time to enjoy what should be an enjoyable hobby, a great social aspect for people. But I love that the retro thing is coming up, because people are like, you know what? I'm happy just playing the games of yesteryear. I can't tell you how many times I replayed Red Dead Redemption 2, or like I said, Fallout. I'm happy
Yeah,
with that. If I don't play another new game, I'm happy with the library that I have built. And I also don't like how they're trying to stop you from doing that, from playing said library. They got you trying to buy the digital. That's why they don't do the backwards compatibility on these things, because that you can't buy you can't go back and play your physical hardware. They're trying to push you to digital, and people don't like that. I mean, I'll do digital if I can't do no better. If the digital is going cheaper than the physical copy, then I will get the digital if I can't do nothing better than that. But I would
mhm,
rather a physical, so that way I can always have it with me. It grows with me, and I can play it anytime I get ready without having to worry about this BS thing that Sony got out right now, where if you don't play a digital game after a long time, if it's been a long time since you played this digital buy that you have to buy a license to replay the game again.
that's a scam.
That
That's
is a
Mm-hmm.
s-
hands
that is a
down a
that is what they
scam.
got going on
Mm-hmm.
right now. And I was like, you got to be kidding me that Sony is doing this. And at this point, you're really taking advantage. You're just spitting in the consumer's face who has supported you for the past 30 years, 31 years, rather.
Because they take advantage with the fact and be like, hi, you wouldn't like that? What are you gonna do? you're gonna like it anyway. So they just got so cocky to the point to be like, you cannot do anything. We're just the master of your mind. So whatever you like it or not, you can just start to screaming at us, but we know that you're gonna buy it anyway.
Regardless. And that's how I feel about the Switch 2. They could just claim that the Switch 2 really did well, which I know it did. But they think it's so, they feel like if they raise the price on it, we're gonna continue to buy that system. And I'm not buying that system. Not until it gets at least under $400. It's got to be under $400 before I can even consider buying it. And as far as PlayStation is concerned, I won't buy another PlayStation nothing until they get themselves on that, because that was some bull roar. I read that last month that they were doing that, where if you have not played a digital bought game for a long time, you have to buy the license again to play it, to continue to play it. And once I play something or once I buy a game, it's mine. I should be able to do whatever I want to with it and play it whenever I get ready.
That's what it should be. That's how it should have been, really.
That's how it should be.
It should have been, yeah.
But now they
but this also
away.
But this also put it on the spotlight. Then a good part of the responsibility for that is also us.
Right.
Because if we let Sony do that, and we're not gonna be like, you're gonna put in this bullshit, fine, you lost it, bye bye. If we don't start to doing that and start to thinking and reclaiming what is supposed to be our world,
our way of
our narrative, our way of lifestyle, our narrative, things are not gonna changing ever, which is why I always keep saying how important is that people need to, on first, need to be informed, and on second, then people need also to starting or relearning to thinking using their own head.
That's right, to think for themselves. And that's why I told my sister, I said, look, with this whole thing with Sony, I think our generation of buying games or buying systems is going to stop here at the PS5, because we realize we don't have to keep going with that. We don't have to accept what the route that they're going. And we just found with the stuff we got, like for the past 2 weeks, I have been playing on the Nintendo Wii. For some reason, it's just giving me what I need right now. And that's how I am. I'll switch systems and it'll give me what I need at that moment in time. But I know I can go back and do it, because I don't have to worry about just what we were talking about. I don't have to worry about that. I can get a Wii game now and put it in and don't have to worry that I have to rebuy the license just so I can play it again, because it's been over a decade. You know what I mean? So so if I have to stop the gaming thing right here, I will, and I won't miss out on nothing, because they don't control me. This is all about control.
Yep.
And at that point it becomes the witchcraft at that point, because you don't tell me what I can and cannot buy, or how long I can play it, or if I can have it, or if you can turn it off on me. Like was Fallout 76, that is the stupidest thing, where you can have a game but you can't play it unless you have the PlayStation Plus thing, and you have to be online for it. That's what killed that.
Absolutely, yes. If only people could be of our same thought, BlackEssence. I really wish.
People don't have to be controlled. This is a hobby. Your hobby is not supposed to control your life or control your finances. It's a sin against the Lord God himself to go to Walmart and be like, well, dang, now I got to choose whether to get this game or get something to eat. Get this game,
Lena.
or pay for gas.
Good, Lena says it. I've got some good indie games on PC, so I don't really need to go back on Switch, etc. Good, Lena. Lena. We want you to fighting the system. Fight against Nintendo.
Like what? That doesn't make any sense. And I caught myself doing that at Walmart or Amazon, because I stays on Amazon, and beyond that, I'm just like, I have to look at my bank account, be like, you know what? That game will be there. It'll be there. I'll wait till it go on sale. And this now it's all about sales. It's all about discounts, finding good deals. And it shouldn't even have to get to that point, which is fine. I don't have no problem with that. But it shouldn't even have to get to that point. Do I have to sit there and weigh my options? Well, no, I better save my money because I got to pay my copay at the doctor's office. No, I got to save my money because I really want something to eat right now. Honey, Lord, let me just stick with my Wii, my SNES, my NES, my Switch, my 3DS. Let me have what I done invested so many times with, and I'm happy with that for the rest of my life. Or at least till the Lord come back.
Let's all embrace emulation.
Thank you. That too, honey. That too. It's a crying shame. I don't know how we got to this point. And I asked my mom. We have this conversation all the time. I talked to my sister, my mother about this. I said, what demonic entity is running behind these things where we have the prices we have right now when it doesn't have to be that way? Capitalism. It don't have to be that way.
Capitalism. like Fox said,
it don't have to be this way. Games should be no more than $30 because that's what it was back in the day. Back in the 90s, a SNES game was $15. That's a whole game for $15. Now, how do we get from that?
Sometimes 40.
Right. Sometimes. And how do we get from that to where we are right now? We're about at $80. Since when? Ugh. And again, it doesn't have to be that way. It don't have to be that way. Somebody's in power right now and says, you know what? Let's just go. Let's start over again. Bring the prices down. And do it gradually. Because if you do it all at once, then there's chaos. People ain't got no.
Yeah, it's been a slow process. That pretty much people didn't even notice. Right. And that's why. That's why it also. After having the full games of 15, we started to getting DLCs. The DLC started everything.
And I like that, the narrative at first was, you don't have to have this DLC. This is just something extra if you want it. You don't have to have it. The game is full and the game is done. It's just there in case you want to, expand the story. And you gave me that option. Now, most places it's like, well, if you want to continue playing it or if you're bored, get this. Now it's if you're bored. Spend money you don't have to spend and get the DLC.
The worst example, the worst type of example that we have all about that is the recent Final Fantasy VII remake.
Now I did hear some things about that.
Headshot.
That's sad. They didn't do Final Fantasy VII right. They didn't do that right. That's not fair. Mm-hmm. Honey. It brings back memories because I watched my brother play it when Final Fantasy came out back in the day.
Me too, and it's pained me so much to see how it actually came out. And I do remember how even in the game journals, then it was also hyped. The Final Fantasy VII remake. It's been there for decades.
Mm-hmm. And then we finally get it, and it's just, honey. But again, like I said, everything we just said sounds too much like the right thing to do. Nobody wants to do the right thing. Nobody wants to say, okay, you know what? This Switch don't have to be this high.
I mean, they probably do want to do the right thing, but it obviously doesn't make them any money. That's the other issue. They want to make money out of everything. Make money out of this. Make money out of that. I want money. Money, 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 money.
Exactly. And they feel like everybody got it, but really, no, that's not the case, honey. I mean, just today. This is just a side note, but just today, I just had to get off the telephone with people who do food services here. And they cut mine off. Now, here it is, a person who works from home, and I got my family here. And thanks to, I have to say, praise God for me having health problems, I'm able to obtain these food services because this is hard for anybody to get. And the money comes in, and I had to fight on that telephone to get it reinstated because they feel like, well, Miss Lyles, did you, which everybody knows my last name is Lyles, don't worry. Did you turn your paperwork in? And I'm always on time with my paperwork and everything, and I turned it in. And they're claiming that I didn't turn it in, that they couldn't find it, that it was my fault. And I make copies of everything that I do, and
is that a threat?
Right. And they're cutting off my means of feeding my family. And that's the thing that I'm talking about. People have things outside of life that's taking place here. And people are taking advantage of that. Mm-hmm. They don't think that, these people got to eat, or these people got a job, or these people got children in school. And with our children, that's another thing. Our babies don't realize that, these are microtransactions, or this is actually a type of gambling towards children or anything like that. These babies don't know that. The parents know that. So it's taking advantage of our children, like things like Roblox and Minecraft. You know,
Yeah.
it's the way we're in right now, and it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't
It
be
really
that
should
way.
not.
No, you
It
shouldn't.
reminds me of a comic that I've read once that basically you have a collection of credits which they call DLC. That's like your that's like your
How
main
fitting.
yeah.
Yeah, your digital currency.
Your currency. It's your currency. And
Yep.
everything from taking a shower to having a meal to just standing still is going to cost you this much daily leisure credit, or DLC for short. Oh god, this is gonna be a scary world if it gets to that. Like at this point, I'm not even. Just please, God, take me. If the world gets to that, please, God, take
I'm
me.
seeing our fellow millennials just like, yo, I hate it down here, but it won't be. I promise you, it won't always be like this. It will not. The type of injustice that's in this world now, it's always comes to being punished, and it will be, and it will not always be like this. And I'm happy about that. Yeah. I really am. So it's okay. I think there's a lot of other people who feel the same way we do. And I think those are the ones that need to be listened to. Because you mentioned, Fox, about the journalists and stuff. The ones that are making the noise are the ones who really are out of touch with people. They don't really know exactly the full depth of the decisions people have to make on a daily basis. I mean, gaming is a lifestyle, or like working out is a lifestyle, and taking care of your body, or at the same time you're taking care of your mind. And so when you have these companies trying to manipulate your mind every day,
absolutely, yes.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree on that. It's also because on my little, pretty much, I also do gaming reviews, and I do it as an independent one. So my judgment for a video game, as much as it's gonna be my own vision for the experience that I get playing the game, it's pretty much untouched by anything else. What is instead I criticize a lot is then a lot of others people then do gaming reviews, then works also for journalism, and then most of the times are also people then give votes to the games and participate to like the Game of the Year's award.
Yeah,
all of those have in a sort of conflict of interest bond between the gaming industry, because they have to giving a certain review that it doesn't go below a certain number.
Right, and they get paid for that too. So a lot of
and
those
they get paid for that. So my issue is how actually can you even be called professional gaming reviewers if you're just having if you pretty much your judgment is biased by your working bond, then it doesn't let you pretty much criticize the game, then you have to making the review. It's almost like I love to make this type of example because I do remember before, and probably you might also remember, when you had a restaurant and you had someone then was coming at surprise to reviewing the dishes and the meals of your restaurants. It wasn't like the person that owned the restaurant was gonna calling the reviewer and be like, you could closing an eye for that, giving us like at least not below 4-star out of 5.
Right.
Reviewers,
see, but just give us,
they were completely pure on that, and they've been like, if you even try to corrupt me or bribe me in some way for changing my review, not only pretty much it was going to be written in the journal article, a bit like this restaurant, the owner tried to bribe me for giving a better review. I'm giving a 0-star out of 5 review because of that, and it would have been fine even with that. Now it's not even more possible. Because the moment then someone try to make an honest review, even if you get I don't know, Square Enix come at me and it gives me the third episode of Final Fantasy VII, and I make the review and be like, this game is shit. And I'm giving my honest opinion, justifying it, with giving example, explaining everything in detail. The company come at me and be like, we're not gonna giving you anything unless you're gonna change your vote and putting it at least a 4.5 star out of 5. And they're gonna even try to ruin your career if you're not
that
going to
cancel
do like
culture
that.
is that cancel culture is demonic. That every bit of that, and and it's even worse in the gaming community when you're trying to give an honest review, an honest playthrough review about the games you're doing. You want consumers to be able to make up their mind, and they don't want you to do that. As a reviewer, they don't want you to help the consumer make up their minds and decide whether if they should buy it or not, because to them they're losing money. You giving an honest review means they lose money. And they don't want to work harder for it. So no, at this point, that's where I think a lot of the journalists are being bought out or being manipulated because of money and because they're afraid of being canceled. When it came to my channel, I'm not going to tell you or play a game that I don't believe in. I've gotten so many a lot of them are bots, honestly, that would have me play these certain games that don't fit the narrative that's of my channel, like simulation or whatnot. And I'm not going to sell a game that I don't believe in to those who watch my thing just to get some money or to get notarized or whatnot. That is just not my MO, because I can't sleep at night. That's just not something that the Lord put in me, in my spirit, to manipulate people to play something just to support me or take advantage of their support of me. So when it comes to journalism, I prefer you be honest with me and say, you know what, y'all, this game is whack. Okay.
Yeah, having some ethic.
Right. You got to be able to get up in the morning and look at yourself and like, did I do the right thing? Can you sit with yourself knowing that you just manipulated hundreds of people about a game that you personally don't believe in, and telling them, y'all, it's really a 4 or 5 star? Like, did that money or that type of stuff mean something? And look, for me personally, I got to stand before the Lord one day. And I got to give an account of what I've done on this earth that was for him and against him. And I'm going to do as much as I can 100% of the time to do for him, so that way I can be told, good job, good and well, faithful servant. Because I'm not going to sell people stuff that is going to potentially ruin their lives or put their mental health in danger or put their spirit at warfare, because I'm trying to make a buck. It just, that's just how I operate. And I'm glad to know there's other people who are that way. But I also am not afraid if people decide to cancel me, because in their mind, cancel me, they have no power over me. But they get to cancel me because they simply think that I'm not following in their narrative, trying to make a dollar. I'm not going to portray a game that's whack to people and have them spend their hard-earned cash they could spend on their children getting food or doctor or whatever the case may be, just to buy this game that's not that good.
It's which just like could be very simple, could be extremely simple to actually take this critics that has been given, even for people that actually are passionate for a certain game and extremely valid in their experience and in their judgment, and instead of listening their even rightful critics, instead of listening and even thinking, maybe I should use these critiques for improving and try to make some changes, then probably, or even reflect on what I was thinking that was a good idea and probably wasn't. No, they just say, no, they're not right, because my creation is the best of all times. Nobody has to say me that this is my creation is the beautiful ever existed, so cancelled. We cannot go in that direction anymore nowadays.
There are people who just feel like if they don't do it, then, like I said, fear of missing out, or feeling like, oh, well, I guess I'm not like everybody else. Well, I don't want nobody to think that I'm not part of the in crowd because I'm going against it. So no, I think a lot of people have to learn that, you know what, okay, I'm going to stand this ground here, even if it's not cool to anybody else. And I'm not going to sell you an item or a product or a game and tell you that it's good when it's not. Okay. So
Yep.
even if you don't give me another chance to review your game or give me a free game, so what? I'm still going to get up in the morning and go to bed at night. I'm still going to sleep at night while you over here frustrated. I know
Yeah,
I did the right thing.
it's a
So,
missing chance for them.
mm-hmm.
It's really a missing chance for them, a missing chance to mature, to evolve, to improve, and who knows, even perhaps and this is also why I am very much closer on the indie side than with the AAA, AA, or the big companies in general, because I see a lot of people then try to put in passion in their projects, but they
Mm-hmm.
do not have enough spotlight to showing what they are capable of, because they might make a very good game, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not covered because they're completely shadowed from the big companies that are doing uh, big AAA games, and the people just gonna focusing on them instead of shining little gems done from indies developers,
Exactly. Like for me,
which
I like
deserve much more attention than that.
exactly. And there's a lot of companies I think that needs to be seen and given that chance, like Toplets, who did Farmer's Dynasty. I love Farmer's Dynasty. That is the most unpolished yet charming game I have put so many hours in Farmer's Dynasty. It's such a left field from what I normally play, but I like farming games. And that game is has so much potential to grow, and they just finally came out with Farmer's Dynasty 2. I have not played it yet, but those are indie developers who really deserve to have that game on major platforms. Now it is
Mhm.
on Xbox, and I think Farmers Dynasty might be on PlayStation, but it is on Switch and Switch 2. Like I said, they're not AAA games, but they're indie games, and I like it for the charm that it is. It's kind of almost like an upgraded PS1 graphics or PS2 maybe, but I like it. And those are the type of companies that need to have that chance to shine, and have their games put out there so that way they can improve on their own product. But not be part of the ones that try to trick their consumers into buying them because because they're indie. That stigma of, well, it must not be a good game, or it might not be polished, or it might not be this or that, just because it's indie. There's so many gems, like you said, Foxy, that are out there that are indie
Mhm.
games that just can't get the light of day, because of AAA, because AAA set a standard. And in lots of ways, rightfully so, it has set a standard. But when it's overcrowding your fellow developers and they can't get something, then that's where we have a problem. Because the most indies don't want to follow that AAA financial plan that Sony and Microsoft
But it's
are
not
doing.
sustainable anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, and it's also why I also get the feeling that in the future is not anymore in the AAA games, because the way that it's gonna go, and who knows, even with the came out of GTA 6, which is
Mm-hmm.
whispered that it's gonna be $100 the base game. So and they're gonna be like, then it should be taken as a standard price for the game. We're like, hell no.
That's right. That's right. That's why I
Hell
said with certain
no.
games, I was like, you know what? I guess I'm missing out on that one because I'm not getting it. Just because, even if it's something of a franchise that I love and adore, like Bethesda's games or BioWare or, whatever, if the game is ridiculously, stupidly high, I said, well, I'm missing out on that one. If
No,
somebody's stupid enough to buy it, I'll watch you play
mhm,
it. Which is what
yeah.
mostly me and my sister and I do. We just watch gameplays of retro games, or if there's a new game we want to see, we'll watch it now. Watch somebody else play it. But at that point, it's like, no, I either wait till it go on sale or I just miss out on that one. And I'm okay with that. You have to grow, master into that mindset. You know what? If I miss out on this game, no matter I would like to play it, I don't need to play it. Because I'm not going to spend that much on that. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to spend that much money on an object like that or digital. I really have an issue with high prices on digital games. I got a big issue on that. I won't buy them unless they're on sale,
Mhm.
unless there's a major discount. And even if it's of a Bethesda game, if it's too high out the gate, I won't buy it. That's like, it'll be there.
It will.
Now, which
And
I
then most of
re-
the times it is. It'll be there.
No, and I really hope we're not gonna getting in that direction. But even then, even if there's gonna happen, the big problematic stuff is that eventually the big companies it doesn't even pay anything for that, because even if it's gonna happen, then you're gonna sell something on $100 and you're not gonna selling anything. They just gonna have their butts covered, because
That's right. That's it.
they just need to firing the entire team, so you get project developers, artistic developers,
Mm.
all the people, programmers, graphics, a lot of people, a lot of families, they're gonna finding themselves from day one and the next day being fired, so they're not gonna having any more a job.
And that's not fair. It should not even be that way, to where your job is at stake, um based on the consumers. I think uh the consumers have a certain amount of control, but it shouldn't make or break these people whether they eat or not. That's why I just hated the way Volition was immediately shut down after Saints Row 2022 was only out for a few months, because of the hatred. And if we have that much power, then we have that much power to do the right thing, and actually like stand up for your friend, stand up for the money that you make, stand up for your hobbies. And you know what? You won't take
Yeah.
advantage of me. You won't manipulate me to make me buy something
And
that I
but
don't
they
want to
will
buy.
use it. And but they will use it. This argumentation for be like, you see, this all these families have been fired because you didn't bought our product. So the fact that they're firing, the fault is on you. It's not on us. So
And
they
that's
try
not fair. That's
to. So they
manipulation.
try to play me. So they're trying to playing this shit. So making us responsible for them to be firing because we didn't bought your game. Dude, you could have at least tried to make it in a more approachable price, so at least we could
Exactly.
have given a chance, and not firing all those people. And he said no, the fault is ours, because we
Exactly.
cannot defend ourselves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's another form of manipulation. That's where we at right now.
Which is
So
the
once people
worst.
realize that we're being manipulated, at that point it's just like, you know what? I have control over this. I'm gonna stop it today. This is it. This is my last generation is this PS5, and it's not gonna go any further than that. Because
Absolutely,
I'm happy
yes.
with what I have. I'm happy with what I got. I don't need anything else. I'm content where I am.
Which for some you might be responsible because of the capitalism crisis, because you're not consuming.
Exactly, exactly. But no, honey, no. No, we don't have time for that.
No, it like I said, this type of system is not sustainable, not at the level that it's just reached today. We just need to coming back to a more approachable and not that expensive
Mm-hmm.
type of style.
Mm-hmm. And I believe it'll get there one day. I truly do believe that. I think as us as fellow millennials and Gen X's, I think we realize, like, you know what? We've been manipulated long enough, because we were supposed to be the second coming when it came to technology, and it
Yeah.
did not fall through. After 9/11, it not every bit of that fell through. Every bit of that whole narrative change.
Yeah,
And I
that right.
think
We went through like a pause of some sorts, especially.
yes.
I'm
And
guilty
so
to being a millennial.
hey, I'm a proud millennial. I wear it on a t-shirt of I'm a proud millennial. And I because I do know that, spiritually speaking, I'll just throw this in there. I do believe the Lord has something for the millennials and the Gen X's, and we are a very strange generation. We are two strange generations, and I think we're not gonna. There's things that we will tolerate and what we won't tolerate, and I love how we are very open about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
We are very open about that, even if it makes us look stupid. We are very open about that stupidity.
Yep.
Very open. And so I feel like it's not gonna be that way too much longer. It's not.
Well, I hope so too. Honestly, I mean, I won't lie. I am not like keeping my hopes up either, but
Yeah, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse before it get better. Now that's
yeah,
the truth right there.
right.
But the end result is we got more power than we realize. And once we realize we have that power, it don't have to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we all had that power. It just people forgot they have it.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
And when you're in a place when you forget, you're left to your own devices, and that's a bad place to be.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So see, Netguy and the Fox for educational. You see.
Yeah, and I talked a lot. I am so sorry for that. It's because
don't
it is
be
Wednesday.
Sorry.
No, don't be. We having this type of conversation a lot often. So
oh yeah, we always keep it this long sometimes.
It's the core of our podcast.
Yep. Especially
glad.
for
I am
interviews.
very, very honored to have been a part of this and to be able to talk about
the pleasure and honor is ours, really.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you were the first person I thought of for doing the first ever interview series for our podcast. So
it's going to be great. I think what you guys are doing are amazing. I think it's going to really, really influence a lot of people positively, and I think you guys should definitely keep this up. Don't stop.
Oh no, we're not going to stop.
No, we
won't. Keep it going and going and going.
We're gonna keep fighting until we see the system crumbles. And if we don't, if we don't see that, I welcome you, everyone in my crew, in my pirate ship, and we go far away into the sea. Yeah.
And I love me some pirates, absolutely. Yeah. So long as I get 2 eye
patches. Well, I think we've pretty much asked and said everything and asked everything again. So I think this should be the end of our show. Do you have any closing thoughts for the people out there watching? Wait.
Oh, me? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I just want everybody to stay steadfast in the things that brings you joy, because every day it's always something going on. Like I said, what I had to deal with this morning, things and services that's supposed to help you try to blame you for their own wrongdoings. And when you're faced with storms and stuff like that, stay steadfast in the truth that you know where you are when it comes to how you operate in your life, and to always dig deep into the things that of good report, that bring you joy, that help you decompress in the day, because people will try you. There are people who will try you. And and there's a lot of manipulation, a lot of hatred, a lot of just crazy things going on in this world. People are losing their minds. Even heroes that we grew up with have completely lost their minds, and we're being faced with those revelations on a daily basis. So the things that bring you joy, that take you back to your childhood, don't shun those away. Bring those things back. When we were children, we didn't think about playing. We didn't think about coloring. We didn't think about anything else other than inducing that happy endorphins.
Yep.
And we need that in this day and time. I mean, all of us, especially myself, suffer from chronic anxiety, chronic stress. And so find those things that help you decompress during those days, and definitely try to balance when it comes to gaming, balance that virtual reality and that reality. And for those who are in Christ, definitely stay in his word, definitely stand on the ground of foundation that he's your protector and he's your provider. He is the one that's going to cover you. And to keep your mental health, because the battle is always going on between what's going in your head. That's the battle that is always being fought, was between your two ears. So make sure that you are careful about those who come into your space. Be careful about the things you watch, the things you hear, things being spoken to your spirit, and just stay as joyful as you can in these last days. Stay joyful. Stay dreaming. Stay in that wonderment. Stay in that exploration stage. I mean, just stay that way. Even if you somebody like me who's just a homebody who just like to drag around the house, hey, I'm in my happy place. Find that happy place and continue to grow and thrive there. Don't stay stagnant, but continue to grow and thrive there. And I just appreciate everybody who has been with me, long suffering with me during this whole thing, this whole hiatus of my health and family, and all of that, and I pray that I get the strength to come back and bring to you the very thing that you need that will uplift you and to bring you joy through your day. And I just thank every last one of you, because I wouldn't be here without any of you. I wouldn't be here without the Lord first and foremost, but you guys are the ones who give me purpose and say that I can still do it when the days are hard, when I can't do it. And so I thank you. I really do appreciate it. And I thank all of y'all for letting me be on this podcast and using up all of your time.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And in chat, we got pinned all the BlackEssence links for X, YouTube channel, and Instagram. So make sure to leaving a like and subscribe to our channels and social medias to support BlackEssence. She's been lovely presence for our podcast, and we really bless your presence here, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart for have been with us for this interview.
Yep.
Oh, I'm happy. Anytime y'all want me on, I am here. So long as I'm not at the doctor appointment.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I am here anytime.
We'll probably have something in the works that'll involve you and everyone else we've interviewed or will interview in the future. And also, don't forget to give my YouTube channel and, of course, my Twitch a follow, because there will be more episodes.
No, we're not giving it. No, we're not giving yours.
Oh my goodness! Now you just dig now.
Here in chat, we got the links of Discord and Twitch.
Yeah, and of course the Discord. We have our Discord group, Netguy and The Fox, where we will be having game nights coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have respective channels for some of the games that we're going to have game nights for, of course, as well as everything that'll be on the Game Recommends channel. So if you have a favorite that you want us to try out and stream, post it in there and we'll see if we can make it happen. And as for today, I will be reading out to my good friend Golden Crust, who is playing 007 First Light. So I hope you enjoy his content and see him play somewhat bad. But he also has his good moments too, so bless him for that. And hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of the day, after the afternoon or evening, if it's evening right now. I don't even know.
I think it's evening now. Time is really gone.
Ain't that the truth? But yes, thank you so much, BlackEssence, for joining us. And
my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for those who stopped by to watch. We will see you next time on Netguy and The Fox.
Good night, everyone. Mwah.